Yes, sir. Welcome back to Paper Route presented by I Am Athlete. We're also on the radio on SiriusXM, Faction Talk Channel 103. It was a long weekend because it was Labor Day weekend, Ashley. So I'm interested to see what you did, what boat you got on, jumped off of, what restaurant you went to. If you didn't, that's okay as well. But also in sports, it was a big weekend in sports because of college football. I'm not a huge college football fan, and I say that all the time, but I may be now because of Deion Sanders, Shador, and Travis Hunter. They had me not only watching them, but they had me watching freaking Duke and Clemson. Like, who watches Duke and Clemson? But there was an upset last night. Ashley, how are you doing?
I'm good. What's up, gang gang? As promised, every day a different Cowboys jersey. Today, it's CeeDee Lamb. Tomorrow, don't know who it will be. Stay tuned to find out. But we're here. Football is back this week. Kicking things off with the Chiefs and the Lions. Don't know how the Lions got the kickoff game, but I digress. Yeah, I'm excited. It's going to be a good week. Football is back, like I said. It's Fashion Week in New York. There's a lot of stuff going on. September, the summer's over. The heat's going down finally. I'm cool. I enjoy fall. Fall is my stilo. Fall is my vibe.
How was this weekend? What did you do for Labor Day weekend? How did you guys celebrate, enjoy?
I can't confirm nor deny my activities, so.
Okay, well, we can jump into news of the day.
Yeah, I'm gonna kick things off. You see, you mentioned college football and Deion Sanders and Shador, who we had here at House of Athlete. We spoke to him prior to the start of Colorado's season, and remember, we asked him what was going to be the toughest transition from him going from an HBCU program to a larger program. And his response was the altitude. Well, the altitude did not bother him. He clearly was not worried about the competition because Shador had himself a day. 80% completion, over 500 yards, 4 touchdowns, and get this, 0 interceptions. He could not be stopped. It was a great game, though, if you actually watched it. It was a great game, went back and forth a lot. The final score was 45-42, so it definitely wasn't a blowout, which I enjoy. TCU ranked number 17, obviously fresh off of their national championship appearance last season. But it was a great game, a lot of back and forth, but it was what happened after the game that had everybody talking. So obviously a lot of people had a lot to say about Deion Sanders when he made the transition from Jackson State to Colorado. Mm-hmm. Some people called him a sellout. Some people said he was a liar because he made it seem like he was going to be at Jackson State for a while. People had just a lot of things to say. And while Deion, I don't know, is Deion a Capricorn or a Scorpio? Can we get an astrology check? Because Deion has a petty streak, and he didn't just walk away from the dub, but he walked away with the dub and kept the receipt. So we have a couple of videos to tee up and tweets before we dive into this conversation. So can we tee up this video here? No? Yes? Maybe?
What's
okay,
up,
here we
bro?
go.
You believe that? You hold on. Oh no. Do you believe in that? Huh? Oh no. I read through that bull junk you wrote down. I read through that. I sifted through all that. Yeah. Oh no. Come on. Do you believe? You don't believe. You just answered it. You don't believe. Next question.
So that was Deion's altercation, or not altercation, let me rephrase that. That was Deion's back and forth with a reporter who wrote some unfavorable things about
Was that Ed
Deion.
Warder?
I don't know who the reporter was. I don't.
That's what people are saying is Ed Warder. Ed Warder, he's a big-time guy in the NFL, so it was interesting seeing him there live and in person, and that was the beef between Deion and him.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
It was. Just got the fact check on that. It was. Thank you, JP, for that. I did not know that. But first and foremost, can I just say I'm adding bull junk to my vocabulary.
I saw you tweet that. You enjoy that?
I've never heard that. I mean, growing up in New York, people don't go around saying that. Yeah. I don't know if that's a country thing.
Well, it's like a Christian thing, like
bull junk.
Yeah, because he don't want to curse.
I've heard of like
Bull jive?
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Bull jive?
I've heard of bull
That's
jive,
old
bull
school.
junk. I don't think I've ever heard of that before. Is that like a thing?
Listen,
Does Deion not curse?
Yeah, well, no, Deion doesn't curse.
Interesting.
But this whole game and how everything played out before, during, and after was a show, and that's what Deion Sanders brings to the table. It's pure entertainment. I'll be honest with you. There's a lot that I learned watching this game. I scrambled to make sure I was watching it live. I went and had lunch at Island Tings right in Miramar, Florida, and I sat there the whole time watching it right there in my little booth by myself. And I wasn't expecting Deion to completely turn around this program in 6 months. Wasn't expecting that, right? Now, what we got to realize is when you come in as a new coach and you're trying to transform a program, especially before the transfer portal, before all this stuff, the new rules came into play, it would take you 3 to 4 years. So you need to come in. You need to first have a successful recruiting class, and you're expecting that recruiting class to, in 3 to 4 years, deliver the outcomes that you want. Now in the transfer portal, you can go and flip your whole team. I had no clue Deion Sanders brought 82 new people with him. That is ridiculous. And so for him to go out there and beat TCU, Ashley, the way he did, said a lot about him and his position in college football, his position as an icon in sports. It was unbelievable. It's the best way I can describe what Deion did was this in NFL terms. Imagine a coach coming into the NFL as the Houston Texans head coach, okay, this year, and then beating the Philadelphia Eagles. That's what it is. That's what he did. The Houston Texans they won 4 games last year. They were trash. They got the #1 overall pick. So shout out to Deion Sanders. Shout out to Shador. Shout out to everybody in that program. It was entertaining, and it was a really good game.
Well, apparently Ed called him a, quote, celebrity coach.
That's right.
Which rubbed Deion the wrong way, rightfully so. But Deion was not done. He had this tweet that he put up a couple hours after the game, I believe. Can we go ahead and throw that tweet on the screen, please? The rejected is going to be respected. That's a bar.
I'm telling you, this dude's like an old pastor.
That's going to be on the next, that's going to be on a few tattoos. For athletes coming up. You're going to see a couple of the rejected is going to be respected. But then he wasn't done yet. His receipt catalog went deep into the holiday weekend because he made an appearance on the Pat McAfee show, and he had this to say about TCU when it came to Shador. He said, Coach Prime tells Pat McAfee that Shador had extra motivation against TCU because he was ignored by TCU offensive coordinator Kendall Briles at a camp in high school. So,
yeah, that's a big deal.
Still waters run deep, but Petty runs deeper in the Sanders family.
I don't know if it's petty. I just think that's a part of what makes.
I'm not mad at it. I love it.
Right, but I
Petty
think
in the best way possible.
I love Petty. You know, I love Petty. I don't know why you have me in.
No, you like
you have me in top 5.
No, Messi and Petty are not the same thing.
Different. All right. Well, listen. I feel like this is what makes coaches or players or just people in general great. Like, life is about competition in certain industries and sports, right? Like you're competing to become the best, or you're competing against so many other people in the field. And one of the things that fuel a lot of these athletes and coaches is what people say, right? Like I never forget one offseason in my training room, I had all of the clips of all the reporters, all the bloggers, everything negative they had to say. And so every day I would come in, and as I'm running on my treadmill, if I'm lifting weights or squatting, I would see that, and that would give me fuel. When it got real painful, I would look up, and it would give me more fuel to keep going. So, you know, Petty, Messi, I'm not sure, but when you come to a camp and a guy overlooks you, right, that puts a chip on your shoulder. You hear about it all the time. So I think that, you know, Shador is one of those guys that see everything just like his father, and he uses it all for fuel. Ashley, speaking of Shador and speaking of tweets, I love watching your tweets.
What are you, a Fed? That sounded kind of creepy.
Well, whatever you want to call me, messy.
That sounded a little stalkerish, Brandon.
Stalkerish.
I love watching your tweets. I love watching your tweets.
Look at Ashley Nicole Moss. How do you do this?
How do I do what?
I'm calling you out. You got your Dallas Cowboys jersey on today.
CeeDee Lamb.
And then you go out and tweet, how do we get him in the Cowboys jersey?
Yeah, how do we?
Last I knew that Dak Prescott was the quarterback, and Dak Prescott was your guy. So now all of a sudden, after one game, the guy goes out there break one record.
Hold on.
And now you're saying, how do we get him in a jersey? So what do you want to measure back up?
If you saw the under tweet, I said, Dak Prescott is my guy. I don't need to go ahead and prove that. Everybody knows how much I love Dak Prescott. I would die on a hill for Dak Prescott. Not a literal hill, and a figurative one. But Jerry Jones is a loose cannon, especially at this day.
No, we're not talking about Jerry Jones. We're not talking about Jerry Jones.
Wait a second. This was my whole reasoning for putting that out there. Jerry Jones is a loose cannon. Him and Dak, there's obviously some disconnect here. You brought in Trey Lance. For whatever reason, I don't know. The jury's still out on that. All I am saying is if the end of this season, the Cowboys don't want to give Dak his money and Dak walks, Ashley, I would like to have Shador as my quarterback. That's all I'm saying.
Can we throw this tweet back up?
That's what I'm saying.
All that what you're saying, this don't make any sense.
Yes, it does make it sense.
How do we get him in the Cowboys
Exactly.
jersey?
How do we get him?
You are excited. This is a lot of excitement. You're sitting here watching him, and you're saying this could be the future.
That's not what. Whoa.
That's what I'm taking from
You jumping the gun, and all I said is, how do we get him in a Cowboy jersey? I'm simply saying, one, I would like Shador as a Dallas Cowboy. His dad was a Dallas Cowboy. That'd be dope. But two, we're not going to sit up here and say that we have not been discussing the contention between Jerry Jones and Dak Prescott. If Dak Prescott does not get his money and he ends up walking to the teams that we discussed on this show last week, Tennessee, New England, Tampa, I don't want to be out a quarterback, and Shador is a phenomenal quarterback.
You don't go, but come on, you going out there saying that when you have a allegiance to Dak Prescott.
I don't need to prove my allegiance. Dak knows how much I love him.
You can't say that. That's straight. If I'm Dak and I see that,
Dak will be okay.
I don't know if we friends anymore.
Dak knows I love him. It's okay.
You know who also is throwing around a lot of love is Deion. Obviously, we're talking about Deion Sanders here. Travis Hunter had a big game. Some is saying it's one of the best performances we've ever seen in college football because he played 110 snaps and he played on both sides of the ball and he balled out. We're talking about a guy that had what's the stats? Maybe there you go right there. 10 catches, 11 catches, 119 yards. And then he had a pick. He dropped the pick as well. He should have had it. He dropped the baby. I was so upset because I'm like, oh, that stat line would have been crazy for this dude to have 2 interceptions opening day. But anyways, Deion Sanders was on FS1 Undisputed with Michael Irvin and Keyshawn Johnson and Skip Bayless. He also was on the Pat McAfee show. And one of the things that kept coming up, obviously, was Travis Hunter. Deion Sanders went out there and said this. He said Travis Hunter could potentially be the number one. He should be the number 1 overall pick in the 2025 draft. So when he's eligible. He also said he could go number 1 overall as a receiver and a DB because some people are like, what is he? And Deion saying he's both. So we may see this guy at the next level playing both. I don't know if we have a video. We throw the video and see Deion talking more about Travis Hunter.
3 great players, great former players. About, is Travis a corner or a receiver? Corner or receiver? Which side do you fall on?
He's both. Travis gets bored if you just leave him on offense and he does not get to play defense. Yeah. If you play him on defense, he don't get to play offense. He's upset. He's not. He's only done this his whole life. You can't take that away from him. That's why I'm thankful and I'm proud that I'm his coach because I understand. You understand. I understand totally, holistically. And guess what? It's a few more Travis Hunters out there watching right now that I'm going to recruit while I have this. Who else going to let you play both ways but Coach Brad? Hey, I told you. If ain't hard to
I told him, I said, see, a lot of people ain't going to let you play both ways. Tom knows, Tom wanted to. That's how we got time. We're going to let you play some receiver. We're going to let you play receiver. That's how we got him over there. So I totally understand it. Tom.
This kid is Skip, let me tell you something. This kid is a first rounder on both sides.
of the ball, like a first pick. He's key.
Yeah.
First pick. Yeah, that's who he is. Travis is, and he loves the game. He does not tire of loving the game and wanting to be in the game and studying the game and all the intricate details of the game. He and Shador could make eye contact and look at each other, and they know what to do.
Yeah.
They have that chemistry. They know what to do because they played together for another year.
This is absolutely insane. We're talking about 110 snaps, and we've seen the stats there: 11 catches, 119 yards, and one pick, one drop pick. This is insane. And to put this in perspective for people, in the NFL, I average, and most guys average 65, maybe. So 60 to 65 snaps. Okay, that's a full ball game for one player. So he literally played 2 games. All right, and we're talking about 65. If I play 65 snaps, I'm probably, if the offense have 65 snaps, I'm probably going to have 61, 62. May come out 3 to 4 times. I average 3 to 4 deep breaths. That's what I average. So watching this dude continue to rack up snap after snap after snap was actually insane to watch. Ashley, you talked about the altitude earlier. That is a clear advantage for people who train in altitude. They went down in Texas, and so they were playing in 100-degree weather, which was tough. But that altitude, man, it gives you so much more wind. I remember traveling from Denver to KC, from Denver to Baltimore to Pittsburgh to play other teams. And when teams had their hands on their hips, we never were tired. We were just now getting started. So this was insane to watch. And Travis Hunter, in my mind, should be up there as one of the top Heisman candidates with Shador Stevens and that young man out in L.A. in Caleb. Right now, they don't even have him in the top 10.
Who doesn't have him? Like the projection?
Yeah, the whatever, the
peeps?
ESPN, the whoever does that, they don't have him. They haven't maybe the chances of them winning it, it's slim to none right now. But I feel like they should be top 5 after that performance. I don't know if we have a picture that we can throw showing Travis Hunter with his eyes on the Heisman Trophy. But this dude had an absolutely insane game, and I'm excited to watch how they conduct themselves as they move forward, because 110 snaps is a lot.
Yeah, listen, it's there's a lot of dope things happening in Colorado. Shout out to Coach Prime and the entire Colorado program. It's just an incredible debut from top to bottom. A lot of people who weren't familiar with the guys on that roster are going to be familiar now, and I would be willing to bet that there's going to be a lot of eyes on this program for the rest of the season, and we're going to get a lot more incredible games and stat lines from the players and from the team as a whole. So once again, shout out to Prime Time and everybody over at Colorado. We're going to switch gears a little bit. Shout out to Diddy, because he is giving back to Bad Boy Entertainment in a major way. Listen, Diddy has reassigned his publishing rights back to all the artists and songwriters who helped build Bad Boy Entertainment. So Mace, Faith Evans, The Lox, 112, and the estate of the notorious B.I.G. have already signed agreements to regain those rights. So this is a big deal. Diddy has infamously gotten a reputation for not always doing right by his artists from the eyes of public opinion. Some people feel like he's taken advantage of a lot of the artists that have come through the Bad Boy label, and their success has really only benefited him and not necessarily the artist, as you would hope that it would. So this is an incredible option. This is an incredible thing that he's doing, because it kind of reverses that whole stigma that has been placed against him and gives back to the artists that built Bad Boy. I mean, Bad Boy would be nothing without Notorious B.I.G., Mace, Faith Evans, everybody that has come through. Even later on, Day 26, Danity Kane, if you're, of a certain age, you know what that is. But this is dope. I mean, this is an incredible thing, Brandon.
Yeah, absolutely. But
took him a while, but we're here.
It is, but I wouldn't say, I wouldn't give him all the props, right? Oh, look what Diddy's doing now. I feel like he has to do this to evolve into the next chapter of his life. Right now, Diddy is talking about ownership. Right now, Diddy is talking about togetherness and uniting. And to do that, you have to go back and correct the past, right? This is a watershedding moment in pop culture. It's a watershedding moment happening in media and sports. And so when you look at the past, it's not only Diddy, it was everyone in this position. So we can't just call out Diddy, because everyone that ran a record label, who owns a record label, benefited the same way that Diddy benefited. That was the game. I'm putting up all the money. I'm putting everybody in position. So I own all of the publishing, and I'm the one that has major upside. And so now when you fast forward to 2020, 2021, all artists is standing up, and you've had artists in the past before, Prince is one of those legendary artists talking about owning your masters, owning your publishing. You saw what Jay-Z tried to do with Tidal, or did with Tidal. But 2020 and 2021, artists really started having this conversation, and it put guys like Diddy and the gentleman that represented Ja Rule. What was the name of Ja Rule's
Murder
label?
Inc.
Murder Inc. Right? Like, they all were in the same position. So this is a big move by Diddy. I feel like he had to do it. It was a great business move, because where he's going with Revolt and the things that he's trying to do in the community, you got to show love. And listen, I don't know, I know, Styles P, I know Jadakiss, I know, Mace, and Mace is the one that stands out to me. Like, Mace deserves this, right? Like, Mace is just a tremendous human being. There'd be times where he may just text, people like myself out of the blue just to check in. And so for him to get this victory is huge. And I'm looking forward to seeing what he does with it and how he can continue to push his family forward and his legacy, because his music, I mean, it led the culture for a long time. And there's a lot of money around publishing and owning your rights. So big up.
Yeah, I mean, it took him a while, like I said, over 30 years to go ahead and do this. And some people are wondering if he is getting ahead of this because of what is going down with Scooter Braun and his artists leaving his management and buying back their publishing and wanting, their catalogs to themselves. Also, obviously paying attention to what happened with the Taylor Swift situation, where she had to go ahead and re-record all her albums that were bought. But listen, better late than never, as some people will say.
Why do you, when you say it that way, it's like, or should we be blaming Diddy, or should we be blaming the system, right? Because the system is not just Diddy, right? We're talking about
Rockefeller didn't do that.
Yeah, Rockefeller. They own who in Rockefeller. Jay-Z had to go.
Rihanna owns her publishing.
Jay-Z
Kanye
had to
owns.
go. Jay-Z had to go fight for his. Remember, I said Jay-Z and Prince. Jay-Z had to go fight for his. Right. Jay-Z made a transition, launched his own, and did it a little differently.
So then why would we be blaming the system? It's the individual.
The system is, every record label was set up like this.
But I just gave you an example of somebody who did it differently. So it's not the system, it's the individual.
But just 5 minutes ago, I said Prince and Jay-Z are anomalies.
No, but what I'm saying is that the industry can't be blamed for something that somebody has done differently. The individual has the option to go ahead and go with industry norms, or go against the grain and go against industry norms. It was the decision on Bad Boy Entertainment to go with the industry norm. I'm not knocking him.
But that's the system, though. But that is the system. So when you name two people or two groups, doesn't mean that this was the popular way. The popular way in the system was, I put up the money, and I own the publishing, I own all the rights, and y'all get nothing, right? So we can go black, white, it doesn't matter. Everybody was doing it this way.
Right. But what I'm saying, we're saying two different things. Just because someone is and sorry, Rihanna's Rock Nation, not Rockefeller. Got that confused.
Jimmy Iovine, Dr. Dre, what's his name? The one that does the Grammy party all the time, the white guy, that legendary Barry Gordy, but that's not who I was referring to, but the one who partner with Whitney Houston. They all did the same thing.
Right, but the industry norm being the system does not mean that the individual within the system has to continue with the flow of the system. They can go against the system, which is what Jay-Z did. And Diddy decided, not knocking him, Diddy decided to do it within the system that was already pre-existing and is now reverting to a new way or changing to a new way. But he didn't have to go that way if he didn't want to. He chose to stay within the system that people found success in.
Rock Nation is not a record label. They're a management
so then she
agency.
was on Def Jam, or she was whatever label it was at the points. But still, she owns her catalog.
Right, but she had Jay-Z as her management to be able to walk her through it and navigate, right? But all I'm saying is, you know, I don't want to blame Diddy. I want to blame the city. I mean, the system. Because there's so many other men and women that played into the system. I'm not saying it was right, but I don't want to sit here and say, well, it took him 30 years to make the right decision. Well, what about all the other executives and all the other record labels that still owns all these artists publishing and all their masters? What are they going to do?
Well, we're just talking about Diddy right now. And I think it's safe to say that, I mean, the industry norm, he's had, not knocking that he's finally done it, but I think it's safe to say it taking him 30 years to do it, especially when a lot of these artists have kind of had issues with Diddy in some way, shape, or form since the launch of Bad Boy, and have spoken about not owning their masters and their publishing. He had the opportunity to change that a long time ago, and he didn't. For whatever reason, he's doing it now. And again, it's better late than never, but I think you can't tell the full story without acknowledging that 30 years is a long time to kind of give back to the people who helped build that label. I think that's fair.
100%.
All right, so we're going to switch gears and go back to sports, because Coco Gauff is a GOAT in the making. And if you don't like it, you better deal with it, because Coco Gauff has officially become the first African-American teenager since Serena Williams, the GOAT herself, to reach back-to-back quarterfinals at the U.S. Open. The Women's Tennis Association had said after she won her match, and we have this video of the moment that it happened.
Beautiful graphic, by the way.
Yeah. The match before reaching the quarterfinals. And I absolutely love this video that we're going to play next, because a reporter at the U.S. Open spoke to Frances Tiafoe after winning his match, and she threw a little jab at the Men's Tennis Association, but Tiafoe handled it in stride, and he wasn't going to go ahead and knock what she was saying, because it is true. Go ahead and play this one. I absolutely love this, because in American tennis specifically, you know, the women have been killing it for a long, long time. And it's been the men internationally who've been, you know, holding up the sport. American tennis players on the male side, you know, very true, are just, you know, catching up to what women have been doing. But I love that Frances Tiafoe didn't take it personal. If anything, he gave credit where credit was due. But absolutely love this. Coco Gauff is only 19 years old. This entire tournament, I don't know if you have been watching?
Yeah.
I absolutely love, not only is
I've been keeping up with that.
Have you?
I just had to correct myself because I couldn't lie. I'm like, yeah, I watched it. I've been watching the highlights.
Oh my God. Okay.
I couldn't help myself.
Well, I've been actually watching the matches. I'm a big fan of tennis. I absolutely love the U.S. Open. Being a New Yorker, you know, being in Queens, my dad's hometown. It's such a cool time of year. But I love that this tournament specifically, we're seeing Coco Gauff kind of shift the gears of becoming. She's coming into her own.
Into a woman.
She's coming into
her. Say that.
Yeah, she's 19. She's coming into her own. I mean, you've seen her go tit for tat with referees, you know, very Serena Williams-like, standing her ground, not backing down. You've seen her showcase just a plethora of different emotions and not being afraid to do that. It's very black girl magic, and I'm here for it.
Yeah, but I want to go back to Francis, right? Like, you know, Ashley, I don't think he could take it personal or fight back when a reporter said the men are finally catching up to the American women in tennis. Mm-hmm. Because it's true, like, we have sucked. We haven't been good. No, we have sucked, Ashley. Like, come on, look at it. We have sucked. And one of the reasons, and it's the same, it's one of the reasons why you don't see us show up in baseball or show up in soccer, is because your greatest athletes are playing football and basketball. We're not playing tennis. We're not playing soccer. let's be honest. If OBJ was playing tennis, he probably would already have a few majors under his belt. Think about that. Lamar Jackson. Think about that. They are the best athletes.
So
you know how much it costs a month to play tennis? It costs parents $3,000 to $4,000 to $5,000 a month just to play tennis. It's the same with golf and even volleyball. So when you go back and you look at it, it's been since 1968 since we've been in this position. It's not just France, it's also Ben Slayton. And so, yes, men's tennis, American men's tennis is in a good position, but the truth of the matter is we've sucked for a very long time. And it's been 20 years since an American man have won the major, right? So, I don't think he can take it personal. And then when you look at the U.S. quarterfinals, this is the first time where you have 4 black men and women representing. And so this is a huge moment for us. And I wouldn't even say this is a moment. I think that we're going to dominate over the next 10 years. And it just happened to be us. Of course.
I'm just still on you saying that Lamar and OBJ, if they played tennis, would have a couple titles under their belt.
Well, think about it. Ashley, name a tennis player, any of these tennis players that's more athletic, more freakish than OBJ or Lamar Jackson. Or any of these soccer players. Faster, stronger, more physical, have more agility. So now if you put a racket in their hand at the age of 4, 5, 6 years old, and that's what they're doing, absolutely. Serena Williams won 2 majors before she was 19. So you mean to tell me at the age of 22, 23, 24, 25, if Lamar Jackson or OBJ was in the same position, that they wouldn't be dominating tennis?
I don't know that because I've never seen them play tennis. I don't think that your athleticism just translates to different sports like that.
Of course it does.
So,
of course it does.
So you can be a freakish a freakish football player, and that means that you can play basketball.
No, it doesn't mean
No,
it doesn't mean that. It does. What I'm saying is, if you take the 2,000 men that are playing tennis, playing in the NFL today, they're suiting up. This Thursday night, we have the Cincinnati Bengals and the Detroit Lions. And then you have the rest of the crew suiting up Sunday and Monday. You take that pool and that whole field and you say, y'all not playing ball. We're not playing football. We're going to go play tennis. Somebody's going to emerge out of that as a world champion. It may not be OBJ. It may not be Lamar Jackson. It could be Justin Jefferson. It could potentially be Tyreek Hill. It could potentially be Jalen Ramsey. Absolutely. But it's being in position where that's what I'm saying. So absolutely your athleticism translate in sports. 100%. It's just the same thing. I can put OBJ.
I just don't think that's true. I just feel like there's exceptions. Like a Russell Wilson can play baseball. Can Russell Wilson win a World Series?
But I'm not saying you're
Deion can play baseball, but we're talking about the upper echelon. Can OBJ go out there and win Wimbledon? I don't think he can. Last night's match between the men lasted 4.5 hours. You think OBJ can play tennis for 4.5 hours?
Do you know the studies that's been, and I hate to go here, but you know the studies that's been conducted around black and white athletes, and even from an anatomy standpoint, people say the studies have shown that we are in better position to succeed in sports just because of everything around us, right? So yes, if you take our best athletes and you put them in other sports, we will dominate.
But the best tennis players, some of the best tennis players in the world are white.
Because that's all they do. That's my point.
No, but you just said,
That's my point.
But you just said that you just brought up black versus white, and there's been studies. But then tennis players, hockey players.
Ashley,
you have black tennis players though. It's not like we don't play tennis.
We don't play tennis. That's the truth. Look at the numbers. And you're talking about some of the best athletes in football and basketball. Where they come from? And you think they can afford $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month to play tennis, to play golf, to play volleyball? We don't. Lacrosse. Those are expensive sports.
I'm not discrediting that. And
we can't even pay $300 for a year to play Pop Warner. We got to go raise money for Lamar Jackson when he's 6, 7, 8 years old to go buy his equipment. So you mean to tell me a parent, Miss Felicia Jackson, can now afford $3,000-$4,000 for him to play tennis? So it's not about the individual.
No, but we're talking about two different things. What you're talking about is lack of a certain race in a sport because of what it costs. That I agree with you. That's why you don't see a lot of black baseball players, a lot of black tennis players, because those, or lacrosse, like you said, those sports cost money.
Right.
At golf as well, those sports cost money, and we're talking about predominantly in black neighborhoods, especially when the neighborhoods athletes are coming out of, they can't afford what that requires to play that sport through their entire life. I agree with that. I don't agree with the fact that skills as a football player translate to all sports. I think that's
it doesn't for everyone. But what I'm saying is, when you take the field, 2,000 football players, I don't know how many young men play in the NBA. Why is 80%, 75%, 80% of our biggest sports in America is basketball and football?
We just said that because it's less.
So now you take all of those young men, and you say, we're going to put you in lacrosse, we're going to put you in tennis, we're going to put you in golf. Tiger Woods, Dad put him in position. Look, Tiger Woods is arguably the best tennis golfer ever. And even who we're talking about, Francis, this young man, you know how he got his way into tennis? His father worked at the tennis court. He couldn't even afford it himself. So he was one of the ones that happened to be in position. Serena Williams and Venus Williams, their story. Like, look what her father had to go through to put them in position.
Right,
so,
but you started off by saying that if OBJ and Lamar Jackson played tennis, they would have multiple titles by now.
Well,
and you started off by saying that if you're an athlete, your skills translate to all sports. I don't think you can say that.
Let me tell you.
Could you go on an ice rink right now and play hockey?
Agility transfers. What is agility, Ashley? We're talking about rotational power. We're talking about balance on right foot, left foot. We're talking about vision when you're running to your right and then you have something coming to your left. That stuff transfer from sport to sport. And I use Lamar Jackson and OBJ as an example, right? Because those are some of the most freakish athletes in football. Now, we can put OBJ and Lamar in tennis and they could flop. But then you could potentially put them in golf and they could take off, or baseball, lacrosse, volleyball, et cetera, et cetera. What I'm saying is they're so freakish of athletes that if they were giving the chance, or if they wanted to play those sports at the age of 4, 5, 6 years old, when everybody else starts, all equal, that they would dominate. We would see more black tennis players that are champions, that's winning majors year after year after year. That's what I'm saying. So
okay, we can just agree to disagree. I'm not going to go around in circles about this.
Well, you're wrong. You're wrong for you to think that LeBron James at the age of 6 can't go and play soccer if he plays. You've
literally had 3 different arguments, and you started off arguing one thing. The middle of the argument, you changed your narrative and you started arguing something else, and now you're back to your original point. I don't know what the point is anymore. The point is,
so we're clear. The point is that our greatest athletes, okay, Americans, play basketball and football. We start playing at 4, 5, 6 years old. We don't play tennis. There's a couple of us, like Francis. His father worked at a tennis court, so that's how he got his in. But you come into these neighborhoods, there ain't no tennis courts, there ain't no volleyball, there ain't no golf courses. There's none of that, and these sports are so expensive that it's a boundary, a barrier to even get in. So what I'm saying, if there was no barrier and they played those sports, we would see more black champions in other majors. That's all I'm saying. So we can move on.
Okay.
And I'm a sage.
Okay, cool. All right, so listen, we're moving on, and I'm just not gonna argue it. Like we're arguing 4 different points. Like I can't argue in obtuse. Like if you want to argue an actual point, but you keep moving the goalposts. Like you keep changing the argument, and I can't. It's honestly it's giving me a headache. So listen, there's been a noticeable shift at ESPN and FS1.
Did y'all understand in the chat?
I can't. I'm not doing it. Listen. There's been a noticeable shift at ESPN and FS1. Isaac Hayes III, son of the iconic music pioneer Isaac Hayes, says that black culture is, quote, priceless, and all we have to do is look at how ESPN and FS1 are moving. They say there is a massive monetary value in presence, vernacular, flair, and cool. We knew this, though. I don't feel like this is news. I feel like we've known this. You know, Black Twitter is a real thing. I think that if you look at major campaigns, you can see that there's been Black phrases thrown into them to make them cooler, to make them more relative, to make them trendier. I think that this isn't a groundbreaking analysis, if you will. I think we've always known that Black culture, whether it's music, whether it's film, whether it's style, has driven what is consumed. It has driven what does well on the internet. It's driven what does well on TV. So I feel like ESPN and FS1 are just kind of late to the party.
Right. Yes, Ashley, but I feel like over the last 2 years, it's more prevalent. You know, if you go back just 3 years, if you turned on, you know, our daily shows that we love, it was more white than Black. And since the pandemic, what happened? Podcasts started to boom, right? In the sports space. Basketball players been doing it for a long time. But now every athlete has a podcast, right? And so we're starting to see the talent, and we're starting to see, you know, like, damn, this does work. It happened in scripted television, right? With Empire and Power. Nobody was giving us opportunities to tell our stories like that. We had the Cosbys. We had Orange is the New Black, things like that. But it wasn't like we weren't given the same opportunities to get greenlit as everybody else. And then all of a sudden, Empire breaks through. And they're like, holy shit, this works. And then 50 came around in Power. And so I feel like that's what's happening in sports as well. A watershedding moment. I used that word earlier. And basically, people are looking at this is the way we're supposed to go. Because now you can see Gilbert Arenas go out there, start his podcast, invest on his own, and see he's showing up as himself, dressing the way he wants to dress, talking the way he wants to talk. And now they're like, we didn't think about that. But look at his numbers, right? So I do think that now, Ashley, they're paying attention and they're starting to invest in it. And like always, they capitalize off of it. They're the ones monetizing, and we don't own anything. And so athletes, hello, pay attention. Stop giving up your IP. We just talked about this with Diddy. So we're going to go over there and we're going to build their network. And then when you're done and they want the next hottest athlete or artist, you're going to have what? You might have some money in your bank account, but do you know that content that you created for 10 years on that platform, they own, and they're going to monetize it for the next 20 and 30? Come on, hello. So I don't know why I love saying that. Hello.
I will say I would like to see more of that.
You want the sage? You need the sage milk? She's
no.
like,
I would say I would like to see more of that, allowing to be authentically themselves when it comes to women, just as like we celebrate with the men. I do notice there's been a shift on ESPN, FS1, where, like you said, a Shannon Sharp, and you have Lil Wayne on Undisputed, and you have, and I enjoy that they're allowing people to be their authentic selves on shows, but I do still think there's a box that women are still put in, that they're kind of, you can be yourself, but not too much.
I disagree, Ashley.
Oh,
and this,
okay.
And please, I need you to, that's why I'm saying saging, because I know our energy's off right now.
No,
I'm
really
not feeling me today right now.
I just don't know how you can disagree.
Really,
I'm a woman in the field.
Well, and this is where I need you to keep me honest, because I do not want to get canceled, because cancel culture is real. But what I've noticed, and it's hard for me to say this, but this is my observation, right? ESPN and FS1 don't have access to the players anymore, right? And I'm not saying this is a right thing that they're doing. It's just my observation. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to bring us in, the ones who have access to the players. So I'm seeing more black women get opportunities, but they're using our black women, in my mind, to get access. Because they can't get that interview anymore with Dame Lillard. They can't get that one-on-one with Kevin Durant. And so when I watch these shows, I do see the Kimberly Martins not just be, oh, you're going to sit here and be a host, but we want your opinion, we want your analysis. But then I also see how ESPN and FS1 is using our minority women, our black women, to get access. And I don't think that's right. And that's just my observation.
Well, what I was referring to wasn't so much like not being in a position where they play the quote unquote traffic cop. I was referring more to the way that they're able to dress, the way that they're able to come across visually. I think that men are given a little bit more leeway. You can see Shannon Sharp, and he can have on a Versace suit with sneakers, and he can show up however he wants to, and it's celebrate. You see Stephen A. Smith shows up with a chain and sunglasses on sometimes. I feel like if a woman were to do that, it'd be looked at like, why is she, like, relax, like, why is she doing that? So yeah, women are given a space where, you know, now you see women wearing their hair in braids, you know, on camera, but they're not given the same rope of creativity and authenticity that I feel like men are given in the sense of how they appear. Maybe if they want to get loud, if they want to go ahead and, you know, bang on the table like a man, like it's a different set of rules.
It's you can go back to, you know, just the sports and the game. Angel Reese. Talking trash. Right. So I agree with you there. 100%.
I will say, though, it's getting better. I think that, you know, you see women each and every season, you know, get a little bit more of that leeway to be who they are, authentic.
And they have to.
And there's been women that have been doing it for a while, but they've also been the minority. I think everybody else is starting to catch up. So.
Question. I just saw your arm. Is that a new tattoo?
It may or may not be.
Can you pull up your
sleeve?
Cannot. Can you stop with this? Oh, I can't tell you, disclose what I did this weekend. I can't tell you.
It's not healed yet.
Let me see.
No,
you
it's
don't
not.
Show them.
It's not healed yet.
What is it? What does it say?
I can't.
John, can I tell the people?
No, why are you putting my business out there?
Just get that.
Oh my God.
Ashley Nicole Moss. I just saged myself. Jeez. Ashley may need to sage me. Our energy is high, and it's making of a good show. But I'm not really feeling the connection with my twin right now. You know, when you're a twin, you know, you have this connection forever. And something's off right now, but it's okay. I want to welcome people who's never seen us before. Ashley, the chat is booming today. We got over 700 people watching live. That's a record for us without having on some type of athlete or artist. I mean, we got to over 1,000.
Yeah.
I'm saying when we had a big
No, we've had 1,000 just solo.
Really?
Yes.
We him and her?
Yes, we've had 1,000 solo dolo.
Okay, so what do you want to say to the people?
Nothing.
Oh my goodness, they ain't gonna come back.
That's okay. Okay, I'm just kidding. Hi guys, welcome. I see a lot of the normal people in the chat. Shout out to the regular schmegulars. What's up, Pamela? I see you guys. Let's see, who else are here? Oh, RSF Morrow got his package. We sent him a little gift package.
Right. JP, great job getting the addresses and Nagin sending them out. Team effort. Yeah, so like we want to get more into our appreciation for you guys rocking with us. This is a big deal for us. So he got his package. Please send some pictures in so we can post you and show it.
Yeah, he got his stuff. So shout out to, I see King Cook is in the building. We haven't seen him for a while.
Where you been? Oh, no. Remember what I said last week? He was here last week. Remember I said King Cock. You don't remember that? I mean, that's what I said. It was a problem.
It is what you said. Speaking of,
oh my God.
Can we switch gears for just 2 seconds? 2 seconds. I don't know why you said that, and this is where my mind went, but whatever.
Let's see where she goes with this.
It is what it is. OJ Simpson? Is that insane? Like, Cam.
You're going too far.
You're doing too much, dog. Like,
Ashley.
Listen, I get it. Y'all from Harlem. Right. You're with the ish. I get it. Some of my best friends are from Harlem. Y'all different uptown. But that is absolutely insane. OJ Simpson as your NFL commentator? Come on, bro.
They introduced AB. They made the announcement a week ago, 2 weeks ago. And yesterday was their first show. I watched it. It was an hour 20. It was good.
With OJ Simpson?
No, with AB, Antonio Brown. And now today, I think they're introducing OJ. When I saw that, because I'm close to Cam and Mace, right? And so I was like, oh, okay. He knows his space. He knows his audience. It's the same thing he did in music is what he's doing in media.
OJ though. AB, okay, whatever.
So
OJ Simpson.
I said cancel culture's real, so he's canceled forever. Is he one
OJ?
of those that's canceled forever?
I don't know if you
because he started off as he was one of the first to do what we're doing as athletes.
I don't know if you can cancel. It is what it is because it's already so like.
I can't believe you thought about that.
It's because if this were ESPN, you'd feel a type of way about it, right? Because it's like ESPN's held to a standard. It is what it is off the cuff. It's wild. It's, they pause in every, like they're just not held to the same standard. But OJ Simpson is like.
So let me ask you this:
that's crazy. No, I'm not gonna watch that. I'm not gonna watch that. Nah, I'll watch a clip if it comes across my timeline, but I'm not gonna sit there and watch that. I'm absolutely not. No,
listen,
I'm not gonna do that.
Turn it on. Just watch the first.
I'm not gonna do that. I refuse.
You go look up like, damn, 25.
I refuse. I'm not watching that
because it's so wild.
I'm not watching that.
Okay.
I'm not watching that. I'm not watching that at all. I can't do that. Oh, they lost me at OJ. AB, okay, whatever. I can stomach that. OJ Simpson, that's crazy. Like.
So guys, I want to say thank you for rocking with us. This is Paper Route presented by I Am Athlete and SiriusXM. Audio partners, Faction Talk Channel 103 for all the ones that drive and listen to us and they can't watch us. But you're not missing anything. You are missing. You got Ashley Nicole in her Dallas Cowboys jersey. And Ashley didn't even recognize that I'm representing American tennis because we're back on, right? You didn't even see my outfit.
I did see it. It's very cool.
Did you see my outfit?
It's very cool, actually.
I got my legs out today.
Oh, my God.
I got my thighs out. Boom.
Where'd you get that fit from? That's actually a really good one.
Actually, in LA at what's that place called? I forget the name of the place. If I said the store, everybody would know it. But this was probably a year ago. I was just walking down Sunset, and I needed a fit for the I Am Athlete podcast. And I walked in, and I saw this, and I captured it. I literally just took the tags off. So American tennis is back. But I want to get back to just saying thank you, guys. This is an hour that we're trying, 11 to 12. So it's good to see our old crew, the Paper Chasers, in. And then some new folks, right? So we'll continue to see how this works, and we'll make the best decision for all. But now it's time to get back to the run of the show.
Yes, it is. Listen, we have some news about Juju Smith-Schuster. His knee might be a serious problem for the New England Patriots. Listen, Patriots wide receiver Juju Smith-Schuster's knee reportedly, quote, could explode at any point and is also a, quote, mess, according to Albert Breer. Now, the Patriots signed Juju to a 3-year, $33 million contract.
Big Brit.
Yeah. Over keeping Jacoby Myers, who was signed to a very similar contract with the Raiders. Now, we have the report of Albert Breer, so we'll play that first, and then we have Juju's response to that. So let's play the video of Albert Breer and his report regarding this matter.
While we wait on that clip, Shador? You want Shador over Dak Prescott?
We don't have a video. Oh, okay. So we don't have the video. Do we have the graphic? We should have that. Okay. Can we throw that up there? Yes.
While we're okay.
Okay. So this is the graphic. Okay. So I'm gonna jump ahead. This is the graphic of Juju. This came after maybe, I want to say, an hour and a half after the initial report about his knee came out, and he said, "quote I feel great. I feel great." So he repeated the same thing twice. It is interesting, though. There's two drastically different reports here. I mean, obviously, Juju's not going to come out and say, yeah, my knee's not great. This is the full text of the response. Let me go ahead and read this. So, like I said, Juju Smith's knee is a mess, and it could explode at any point. That was Albert Breer's report. Breer says the team may have to keep an extra receiver on their depth chart because of that. And Juju Smith responded to the report saying, quote, I don't think my knee is a ticking time bomb. If anything, it's something that's getting stronger every day. So, that's very conflicting, contrasting reports. Somewhere in the middle is the truth.
Well, look, there's a lot of pressure on the New England Patriots. Let's take Juju out of it. Juju, obviously, last year had a really good year as a player, as a wide receiver, but a phenomenal year, historical year, in the NFL because they won the Super Bowl. He was with the Kansas City Chiefs last year. So now you go out and you acquire Juju and you move away from a receiver that gave you good production. And so now Juju's here, and you're counting on him to help a young Mac Jones. So it's a big deal, not because of Juju, and I don't want to overlook him as an individual. Juju's done some phenomenal things in this league and off the field, especially when you talk about his brand and things that he's done in media and his own social platforms. But Bill Belichick needs Juju Smith. Mac Jones needs Juju Smith. Bill O'Brien needs Juju Smith, right? Because this is the guy that you went out and said, we're going to acquire him. We're going to bring him in. So for them to be days away from their first game.
Days.
And can we see who they have? Like, I don't even know who I think they're probably opening up against a division foe. But, this is a big deal. You need your guy. Now, will Bill Belichick adjust? Absolutely. But it's hard when you don't have Tom Brady anymore. So, hopefully Juju continues to get stronger. And
First game is against the Eagles, 4:25 game, America's game of the week.
That's a big deal.
That's a big deal.
Yeah. So, and Juju's one of those guys that come in and it's like a Hines Ward. That's what he reminds me of. He's in the trenches. He'll block. He'll get dirty, and he make big catches. He doesn't make the game look pretty like a Justin Jefferson or any receiver like that, but he's consistent. And so this is a big blow for the New England Patriots to get back on track, because now when you look at the AFC East, loaded.
Yeah.
The Jets.
Yeah. The division.
Bills,
yeah.
The Dolphins.
I mean, it's very interesting, because obviously if there is an issue with the need that is as catastrophic as Albert Breer's report made it seem, obviously Juju Smith-Schuster is not going to come out and own up to that.
Right.
I wouldn't expect any athlete to do that and say, yeah, that's right, my knee can implode at any minute. He's absolutely, like, no one's gonna, you downplay it as much as you possibly can. But you're only gonna be able to downplay it so much until that first game. The first game will tell exactly where his knee is. Now,
is he playing?
Do we
know if he's playing or not?
I mean, it doesn't say that he's not playing.
Right.
So you would assume that he is in the lineup in some way, shape, or form. I do think that it's interesting, though, that a report that drastic would come out if there wasn't any truth to it. And I wonder how much of an issue the Patriots knew his knee was or could be before signing him to that deal over Myers.
Right.
It's unfortunate, because Juju Smith, when he's at his best, I think he's dynamic. But it is going to be interesting how they combat this. And if it does end up becoming something that is as catastrophic as Albert Breer's report made it seem, what does that mean not only for the Patriots, but Juju Smith's career as a wide receiver in the NFL?
Right. Well, I mean, listen, let's shift gears here from one wide receiver to the next. Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
A lot of people are pissed off in America right now because Cooper Kupp is in Minnesota. Keon, do you know why Cooper Kupp's in Minnesota? Why he had to fly to Minnesota? No, you don't, because you're not paying attention to sports, Keon. Cooper Kupp is dealing with a hamstring issue, but he flew to go see some type of specialist, a guru. They say it's like
a hamstring specialist, to be exact.
What's his name? Mr. Miyagi?
Yes.
Yeah,
the Karate Kid?
He went to go see Mr. Miyagi in Minnesota.
That's not funny.
But I'm just saying, he's trying to figure it out because, the people who's pissed off is the fantasy owners, right? So here you go. You got Ian Rappaport came out with this last week. Rams star wide receiver Cooper Kupp is in Minnesota seeing Mr. Miyagi. All right. A noted.
It does not say Mr. Miyagi.
To further understand his hamstring issue, sources say. With 2 pools in one summer, which is a big deal, the hope is to fully comprehend the root of the issue. Coach Sean McVay has described him as day-to-day. And so this sucks because this is another team which you don't know what you're going to get, but you have Matthew Stafford, who's probably, when he's on, he's a top 10 quarterback still. Mm-hmm. And Cooper Kupp, I think Odell just put him in his top 5. And so for Cooper Kupp not to be out there, it's a huge blow for him. It's a huge blow for this team because they need Cooper Kupp. And so hopefully Mr. Miyagi will get that hamstring right. I just laugh because, I've been in a situation before where you fly around the country or the world, trying to work with gurus just to get right. There's some players investing hundreds of thousands, if not, $1 million or $2 into their body. And so you got to find ways to stay on the field. So hopefully he figures it out. But these hamstring issues can nag you for a year if you don't manage it right on the onset.
I mean, can we be honest, though, about the Rams? This is not a make or break for their season.
What do you mean?
It's not a make or break for their season, meaning it's not like we're expecting much from the Rams. They're a shell of the Super Bowl team that we saw. Almost everybody is gone.
Yep.
Elsewhere is scattered. So it's not like, let's say Cooper Kupp misses half the season. Let's just say that. Let's just say Cooper Kupp is not as dynamic as he is when fully healthy this season. And he doesn't miss, but he's just not the Cooper Kupp we're accustomed to seeing. Okay. Does that really make or break a Rams season where the expectation for this team, because of how much they have lost, because of how drastic they look, it doesn't really move the needle, I would say. It's not like you're expecting much from this team.
This is hard for me, Ashley, because you're right. You know, they sold everything to win the ring that they won. They bought their way into 2 Super Bowls.
And I'm not mad at it.
And earned, right? But it was a great strategy. And now, dealing with the cap issues, they had to let go of Jalen Ramsey. They couldn't bring back OBJ. Mm-hmm. There was a bunch of guys on the defensive front that they had to, move on from. But Coach McVay, you don't think he's feeling the pressure?
He's feeling the pressure.
You don't think Matthew Stafford's feeling the pressure?
Matthew Stafford's feeling the pressure for a multitude of reasons. He can't connect with his guys. Remember his wife said that? So
I think that our expectations outside of the building, us and the media and fans, our expectations are they're just going to be a team. They're not contenders.
They'll be competitive.
But Coach McVay, they're thinking about how do we become what Seattle became last year. Like, we can do that. Nobody expected Geno Smith to come in and be one of the most efficient quarterbacks throughout the whole year. Nobody expected, Russell Wilson to leave and them still be competitive. Right?
I would say though that Seattle last year with Geno has a better team, had more pieces, I'll say, than the Rams have right now. Outside of Aaron Donald's a freak. He doesn't count. Let's take him out of contention. I would say, you had DK Metcalf.
That's it, and Tyler Lockett.
Wasn't Bobby Wagner still on that team?
No, Bobby was
he wasn't.
LA.
He was in LA, right.
He was in LA.
So,
you had nobody. And you had your, Jamal.
Jamal Adams.
No, Jamal went down. He was hurt.
He went down, like week 2?
Correct.
Right? Yeah.
Correct. So but that's my point. I don't think it wasn't the Seattle Seahawks that we saw for 10 years.
No, of course. It wasn't Legion of Boom.
But they played like a team. So when you think about Coach McVay is probably sitting here saying, you know what? I'm him. I'm still the baby boy wonder, the baby boy genius. And I got Matthew Stafford, a Super Bowl winning quarterback, a guy that's top 10 when he's healthy. Mm-hmm. And I got Cooper Kupp, one of 2-3 receivers that ever had to win the Triple Crown.
You think that Matthew Stafford's top 10?
Aaron Donald
when he's healthy?
Say that again?
You think Matthew Stafford's top 10 still when he's healthy? In the NFL right now, currently? I don't think he's top 10.
Yeah, no, that's tough. Not right now.
That was
last year, but even the year they won the Super Bowl, he struggled down the stretch.
That's what I'm saying. Top 10 when healthy? No way.
It's debatable. Can we see?
Debatable?
It's debatable.
No.
It's
Stafford top 10?
Let me see.
Come on. Top 10, you're going over a lot of QBs. I don't know if I'd put him top 10 healthy. Maybe right outside of it.
I agree with you. It's tough. Let's go through it, though. One, you got Patrick Mahomes.
For sure.
And this is not my list. This is a list that's FoxSports.com. Okay. I'm a hater. FoxSports.com. IamAthlete.com.
Patrick
Mahomes, number 1. You got Joe Burrow, 2.
Okay.
Not my list. Josh Allen, 3.
Okay.
Justin Herbert, 4.
Okay.
You got Jalen Hurts, 5.
Okay.
Aaron Rodgers, 6.
Uh-huh.
Lamar Jackson, 7.
Uh-huh.
Trevor Lawrence, 8.
Right.
Trevor Lawrence or Matthew Stafford. Dak Prescott, 9. Dak Prescott, Matthew Stafford. Kirk Cousins, Matthew Stafford. And then at 10, no.
Yeah, but you're
10.
still passing over.
They have this
You're
is
still passing over QBs like you have Deshaun Watson.
Jared Goff, 2.
You have Deshaun Watson
Wilson.
who'd be in the top 10. Russell
Okay.
Wilson would be in the top. I don't think Matthew Stafford healthy I think he's outside of the top 10, but currently today, like this season, if we're like top 10, no.
This list has him on foxsports.com, has them tied at 10. You see that? They have Kirk Cousins and Matthew Stafford tied
Maybe
at 10.
tied for 10 or right outside of 10, like 11. I don't know if I put
agree.
him
That's
at
why
top
I said
10.
it is a stretch.
I would take Trevor Lawrence over him for sure.
But he is a playmaker. He is a playmaker. And I don't know. I mean, Trevor Lawrence, we're going to see the real Trevor Lawrence this year.
I would take Trevor Lawrence over him. You take Deshaun Watson over him.
Yeah.
That's 2 spots right there.
Right.
So I would say top 15.
Top 12.
Okay, I can give you top 12.
All right, top 12.
I give you top 12.
Top 12.
All right. Okay, listen, Cooper Kupp hamstring. Let's dive into the injury a little bit. Hamstring injuries as a wide receiver, how debilitating are they in terms of how you are able to play future? Let's not talk about in the immediate. Obviously, if you're dealing with an injury at any capacity and you rely on your body, you're going to go ahead and have trials and tribulations. But how does it affect your game, change your game as a wide receiver when they're chronic hamstring injuries?
Yeah, I mean, if you don't deal with it right, I mean, you should be able to recover and come back from hamstring issues. The problem is, think about it, the pressure. All right, I was hurt last year,
right?
So I have to get back. If I don't get back, they could potentially cut me or ask me to take a pay cut at the end of this year because now I'm injury prone, right? Sean McVay pressure. Hell, if I don't have my guy, I'm not going to be able to run my offense the way I want to run my offense. So will Kroenke, the owner, fire me and go to the next thing? We put all this money into the stadium, put all this money in this new facility. We need to get back to prominence. We need to get back as contenders. So pressure makes guys rush. And when you rush, Ashley, a hamstring issue, now you're working in compensation. Meaning, I rush back, and I may not be 100, but I'm compensating so I can at least get through and still produce. So now I mess up my ankle. Now I mess up my knee. So this might be me geeking out here around the anatomy of sports injuries in the body. But, like, that's why you got to do it the right way when you're injured, and you got to take time because – I truly believe that's I could have played another year or two.
Right.
But I rushed to get out there to do my workout in Seattle, and I crushed it. I had 15 routes. That's it. Pete Carroll sitting there, Russell Wilson sitting there, Snyder sitting there. And it's like, we just want to see you go through some routes. On the very last route, 15-yard comeback on the right side. Bop, 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 bop. Boom. Hamstring went. Okay. And I limped out of it because I was like, oh, that was the ankle because I just got cut from the Giants. And the Giants were like, all right, we're going to move on. And so Seattle's like, yeah, we want you to come work out. And this is before the draft and free agency. If I didn't take that because I was rushing, they probably would have found their solution in a draft or free agency. So I was like, damn, let me go back. I didn't even run at all full speed for damn near 6-7 months. This is my first time reaching top speed. So I'll go out there, I'm looking crispy the first 14, right? And so when I snapped my hamstring on that last route, I just limped off. They was like, you okay? I was like, yeah, that's just that ankle. You know, I just got caught up a little bit. They was like, all right, no problem. You're done. We love what we saw. Go up there. I could barely sit. I couldn't sit down. I could barely walk up the steps. So now I'm finessing the whole deal. They wanted to sign me. I told my agent, I said, yeah, I'll sign, but buy me a couple of weeks. And so it wasn't until training camp where, you know, I actually could move around a little bit, but it was too late. And I couldn't really move, and then that was the end. So if you rush it, you can mess up a lot of money, and you can mess up your whole situation. I wish I could show y'all my hamstring right now. It's a big hole.
What?
Yeah, I don't know if I.
What do you mean a big hole?
I wish we had a bigger
like where
studio.
the muscle is?
Like if I show you my hamstring right now. No, I'll show you after because you got to bend over. People like, why you bending over? Showing over your butt?
Go ahead, do it. Show the people the hamstring.
No, you can't really see it. Let me see. So.
The basketball's blocking. The basketball's blocking.
Okay. You can't really see it. So, no, I can't. You can't see it. I got tattoos on it now. You can't see it.
Okay.
So on my right hamstring, I was doing yoga this morning. And so in the mirror, I could see like my right hamstring, you can see it go all the way down from, you know, my gluteus maximus down to my gastroid, right? And so it's long and connected. On my left side, you'll see this, and then you'll see a hole, and then it
Wow.
goes.
Wow. The chat was saying pause. Nah. Sit down, Brandon. Hey, yo, sit down. Come on, guys. It's anatomy. It's science. Stop being weird.
Let's see if I go like this.
Can you lift your leg all the way straight?
I mean, I do yoga every morning. You know what I'm saying?
That doesn't. What does
you know
that
what I'm
mean?
saying? But I ain't gonna go out here and you know what I'm saying? Show y'all. Y'all gotta come to my yoga class. Oh, so Keon was shooting me this morning doing yoga, and I was in Happy Baby.
I love Happy Baby.
You love Happy Baby. And this dude gonna come, he getting this angle. I was like, not this pose. Ashley, I'm like, not this pose, Key. We not putting that out.
Oh my God.
Don't capture Happy Baby.
Why? If you're a yogi, you gotta capture all the
I ain't that
poses.
type of yogi.
Did you capture his downward dog?
You can do downward dog is fine.
Wait, you can do so he can capture the downward dog, but he can't capture Happy
Yeah,
Baby.
because you can get the angle of me doing this angle, that angle. You know what I'm saying? But
Happy Baby. I don't know if you
what
guys.
was you thinking? Why was you like? What shot did you see? Sorry if I'm calling you out.
I was just getting ready to shoot just in case there was another movement.
Oh, he said he was just in position.
It seems like both y'all were in position.
Look at you.
It seemed like both y'all were in position. I'm not judging. I'm here for it. Listen. What?
Brandon, Marshall, Ashley Nicole, Ma, she is getting messy.
What did I do?
You on my top
I
five
said
messy.
I'm not
you know
judging. I said both y'all were in position. So what?
They said what?
They said downward what?
Downward what? Puff?
They've never heard of downward dog?
Show him.
I can't do it in front of the desk. First on the table, you won't see me. You'll just like a downward dog is like
All right, stop.
head down. I don't know how to.
What'd you say? Head down what?
It's head down. You know.
Yo, is this what is this show?
I don't know how else to describe
Where are we
it.
supposed to be at? The C
It's
block.
downward dog. It's head down. You know, back up. I don't know.
So listen, we have Mark Ingram joining us at 1:00, and we'll ask him his thoughts on see if he does yoga. Right? There's a lot that we can talk to Mark about. I love him. Big trust. A guy that made his college football analyst debut. If I said that right, did I say that right? Mm-hmm. And I don't know if he's retired or not. That's probably going to be my first question, Ashley. Mark Ingram, are you or are you not retired? And then, I was talking to one of my homeboys this weekend, and it was like, how do you retire? How do you retire, Ashley? How does a football player, do they send in their papers? What do they do? Or they just make an announcement? How do you do it? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. So we'll have Mark Ingram on the show later. We'll have that conversation, but we'll jump into word on the
Someone said Mark can wait. Demonstrate a yoga position, Brandon. Right now, we don't believe
What
you.
y'all want to see? Let me see.
Oh my God. Do your tree pose. Do tree pose. Oh my God. Oh my God. do tree.
That's too easy.
No, it's
Ashley.
not. You put
Tree
one.
pose?
Yeah, put your foot into this thigh and hold yourself up.
Oh, that is so easy. Tree pose?
Okay, I was trying to give you something
Come on,
easy
yeah,
to
do
do, but
something.
whatever. Listen, we're going to switch gears and talk some NBA. Paolo Banchero has no comment for Italia. During a Team USA media session, Paolo had no message for Italians that were still upset by the forward's decision to represent the United States in the FIBA World Cup. When asked by a reporter if he had a, quote, message for the Italian fans, he simply responded, no. Here's the video.
You have a message for the Italian fans?
No.
Yeah, just like that. He said no. Now, for some backstory on this, in case you're unfamiliar with it, Paolo, who is of Italian heritage from his father's side, had previously verbally committed to play for the European country Italy before switching allegiances to Team USA following a conversation with Coach K. Now, Coach K used Kyrie's situation with Australia and USA as a way to give Paolo something to think about. Now, Italian Basketball Federation President Gianni Petrucci criticized the way that the situation was handled, saying, quote, "Betrayal is a big word in sports. These things happen, and personally, I'm used to it. I consider it a joke." Now, Paolo says that it wasn't an official commitment, that he was supposed to represent the Italian country when he was a teenager, but COVID hit. He ended up going to Duke and then into the draft, and that he did plan on representing Italy this time around, but it wasn't an official commitment. He did say that they approached him. He said he was going to play. He would consider it, rather. And then ultimately his official commitment, his official decision was Team USA. Now, Paolo, like I said, of Italian descent, but he is born and raised in Seattle, so he's American.
Right. Listen, I'm with the Italians on this one.
Oh, okay. I'm not.
You know what I'm saying? But look, he did, at the end of the day, he did what was best for him, but you gave him your word. He did, you know, so it's a huge disappointment for the Italians. And it takes me back to the conversation we had earlier. Why? Because we dominate, meaning African Americans. We dominate football. We dominate basketball. And so they want to compete. There ain't too many of us over there. They over there playing tennis. They over there playing golf. They over there playing soccer. So they needed Paolo. But Paulo's a gentleman that's born and raised in Seattle. He grew up watching the Nate Robinsons of the world. And, you know, there's so many hoopers that came out of Seattle. And so he's not wrong. He's not wrong for playing for America. But when you give him your word, you know, a couple of times, or you say, yeah, this is what I'm going to do, and you go the opposite way, you're going to leave a lot of people disappointed, especially on this stage in sports.
As we say in Italian, basta. Basically, relax, stop, okay, cut it out.
Oh, so you're not disappointed as an Italian?
No, because here's the thing. Like, it was a verbal commitment. A verbal commitment is not your official commitment. They approached him. He said he would consider it. He said it on draft night that he was intending, that his quote was, "I plan to play for Italy." Not that I'm going to, not that I will, that I plan to. Plans change. When I was a teenager, I planned to marry Allen Iverson. Guess what? We're still not married. Like, it happens. People change. Things change. People change their mind. He sounds like a 20-year-old kid who thought that he was going to play for Italy, and he didn't. But I don't understand how you can take a verbal commitment as the official commitment.
That's everything. Like,
I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know how you take a verbal commitment. And it wasn't even a verbal commitment.
All of that. But
Brandon, it wasn't even a verbal commitment that he said, "I am going to play for them." He says, "I plan." Well, meaning that that's something that I plan on doing. It doesn't mean that it's going to happen. Italy took that and ran with it. I get it. Italy, the Italian Basketball Federation, they don't have a lot of big names that play for Italy. I get it. They need big names. It's a disappointment when you have a big name, when you have someone of Italian heritage, and he's a big name in the U.S. He is a top draft pick, and then he decides that he's not going to play. But he even said, the Italian Basketball Federation president said that betrayal is a big word. In sports, these things happen. So then what are you mad about?
Because he's taking shots. He's basically saying you betrayed us. That was his opportunity to keep it professional. You got to, Ashley, you be missing some of these. He
was a 20-year-old. I'm sorry. At the time, he was, 19 when he got drafted?
You got to learn your lesson. And guess what? The lesson for him and other young athletes is don't go out there.
Did he sign a contract?
Say things that you're not going to do.
Oh, come on, Brandon. We see this in sports all the time. Russell Wilson said, "I'm not leaving Seattle," and then left Seattle. Kyrie said he's going to end his career in Boston, and he went to Brooklyn. LeBron said that Cleveland is home, and he's never going to leave, and then the decision was that he went to Miami. We see this all the time. It's not something that we've never seen. He didn't sign a contract. It wasn't an official declaration of "I'm going to play for Italy." He made a statement. He said, "I plan on playing." He's fresh off the draft. He was going to play for them pre-COVID. It didn't happen. And he had a conversation with Coach K, and he said, "You know what? I want to play for the country that I've lived in my entire life."
I will say this. You know, a couple of months ago, I had an opportunity to go to France, Sports Beach. Stagwell brought us over. few of us on the team, and I had an opportunity to listen to him speak, and he is sharp, right? I will say he's sharp, and I am a big fan. But, bro, next time just don't say it. And he can't go back now.
Say what,
He can't
though?
go back. He can't go back now. I don't want to hear this a couple years from now. Oh, now P going over there and playing for Italy. They done. They're not
gonna be done. Trust me.
You can't do both. Have we ever seen a player play do
you can
both?
play for both. He's of Italian descent.
So
he can play for Italy.
He can represent the USA.
Not in the same year, obviously.
I know I'm talking about.
You can at some point, but again, people need to stop taking "I plan to" and take everything at face value. I get it. Like you would think that if somebody says something that they're gonna go ahead and honor it, but we're talking about a kid at 19 years old saying "I plan to do it," and he said, "Look, the reason that I wanted to play for Italy initially was my father, who's of Italian descent, never went to Italy. It was a chance for us to get familiar with our culture." And COVID happened. He ended up going to Italy on his own. Right. And he said, "We saw the country. It was beautiful. We enjoyed it. My dad goes back constantly. And I wanted to play for the country that I've called home, which is America. What's wrong with that? He's from Seattle."
All right, so let me ask you this question, because you know I like stalking your tweets. I'm a stalker on your tweets. Why you not letting Rich Paul live? Like you like.
All I said was "Rich, please." I didn't say anything.
Yeah, let the man live.
I just, listen, we can. Speaking of Rich Paul, he entered Gil's arena and people, myself, are talking. He made an appearance on Gilbert Arenas, quote, he made an appearance on Gilbert Arenas' Gil's Arena podcast and had a rather interesting perspective on the Jordan versus LeBron debate. He said, quote, "I just think LeBron's antlers are in platinum and Michael Jordan's may be in gold. Why? Because he had to be compared to Mike. Who did Mike have to be compared to?" Here's the video. Listen for yourself.
Mike transcended the game. When Kobe came, Kobe was a silhouette of Mike, right? That's everything, which is great. But LeBron is the first player to have to deal with a 24/7, 365 news cycle of sports and opinions from those that's not even capable or carry the expertise to give a valid opinion, right? In addition to, no, I'm not gonna really do it how y'all want me to do it. I'm probably gonna do it how I decide to do it. We all know that don't go over well, right? And so then you have this environment in this sports society that's created, right? And so now you have the root against. That's a whole nother thing that Mike never had to deal with because his hardest critic was probably Peter Vesey.
Yep. Straight up.
You see what I'm saying?
Fucking Peter Vesey.
But I just think LeBron's antlers is in platinum and Michael's may be in gold. Why? Because when you think about, he had to be compared to Mike. Who did Mike have to be compared to?
Talk about it.
Yo, Ashley, first off, shout out to Rich Paul. That's exactly what you're supposed to do to support your homeboy, right? That's how I feel about you and Dak Prescott, right? Like, you can't go out there and tweet about Shador Sanders, okay? Shout out to Rich Paul. You know you're off, right? I'm not saying he's right. You know you're off. We're talking about deers and antlers and platinum and gold. I've never seen anybody put that stuff together to debate who's the GOAT. And then when you look at everybody responding, you know, he's sitting there for 2 minutes talking about right. And Gilbert Arenas and Kenyon Martin, everybody just looking at him like, bruh, like, we not validating this. But I'm not mad at Rich Paul. This is what he's supposed to do. What do we expect? That's his people. They came up together.
Okay, but you know what you're supposed to do and it being factual are two different things, right? Right?
But you said it last week about your Dallas Cowboys. You were like, yo, sometimes I'm a fan.
You know what you're supposed to do and what's factual are different things, right? Because in that clip, he said numerous of things that were not factual. He said that LeBron is the first athlete to be criticized by people who don't have the gravitas to criticize him. So no other athlete in the history of the NBA has ever been criticized before LeBron James. Kobe Bryant wasn't criticized. Shaquille O'Neal wasn't criticized. Michael Jordan wasn't criticized. Dirk Nowitzki wasn't criticized. D Wade was. I mean, the list goes. Nobody was criticized before LeBron James. Is that what you're telling me, Rich?
Did it sound like he was trying to, imply, that the social media, like they didn't have to live in that era?
No, he said verbatim that LeBron is the first athlete to be criticized on a news cycle by people who do not have the gravitas. He didn't say gravitas, that's my word, to criticize him.
That's not right.
Every athlete in the history of the sport's been criticized. You can say maybe he's been criticized more. That might be an argument you can have. But to say that he's the first to ever be criticized is just factually incorrect.
I feel like he took it too far, and that's what you usually do when you're not really in position to fight, right? Like this is a tough debate for LeBron, his team, and LeBron fans to say, you know what, we're the GOAT, we're better than MJ, right? But I think what he was trying to say is, back then it was just a couple of men and women on the beat. There was a couple of stations, right? It was more local than national. Obviously, there was a few teams and a few players that had national coverage. But nowadays, everybody has something to say. Look at the chatter. Chat is booming today, right? Everybody's on Twitter. Everybody's on Instagram, right? Now you got men and women in the locker room that aren't just journalists or working for a station. You got bloggers. Or I run this website. So he is facing something different than the guys that came before him, 100%. But I just think Rich took it too
I feel
far.
like 24/7 critique is wild because there are what people call LeBron sexuals that defend LeBron to the death. So
Shannon Sharp.
There are media talking heads.
Is Shannon Sharp a sexualist?
Is he a big LeBron fan?
You really don't watch.
I don't watch that show, so you know what he is. And Skip was a big LeBron hater. That I do know.
Yeah, right.
There are literal talking heads who defend LeBron on national television. So the 24/7 is a little bit of exaggeration because I feel like there's so many people who speak highly of LeBron consistently, day in and day out, especially during the NBA season. But I'm saying the 24 news cycle is unfair to even bring into the conversation because a 24-hour news cycle didn't exist in different eras. So you can't criticize someone for not being criticized 24/7 when 24/7 news cycles didn't exist. But if we're talking about criticism, Dennis Rodman was one of the most criticized athletes. Michael Jordan, they were following him to casinos and saying that he was drunk during the flu game was actually a hangover game. They were talking about his divorce. They were talking about his cheating.
It is different,
Dan Marino was partying and people were following him. There were so many athletes they were doing this to.
Ashley, no.
They weren't?
If that era had social media,
for sure.
Oh my goodness, the Cowboys and those stories.
I know. What I'm saying though is that you can't knock. And you can't say that your friend is criticized more than anybody because there's a 24-hour news cycle when you're comparing apples to oranges. They were criticized heavily for what the landscape of media was in that era.
Right.
So you're comparing two different things, and that's an unfair comparison because you can't say Dennis Rodman wasn't criticized like LeBron when LeBron came up in an era where he was being able to be criticized in different forums. It's an apples and orange conversation.
And we talked about this, I think, a week ago, Ashley, when we're trying to compare eras, right? It's so hard for us to have this debate, right? One era, who was it that came out? Was it Magic Michael Jordan started this debate because he said Magic is the point guard, period, the best point guard ever, period. And we started this whole conversation, and it's like one generation's always going to lean towards how it was in their generation and vice versa, right? But I truly believe this. If you put an MJ in this era, he will adapt. You put a Dan Marino in this era, he will adapt. And vice versa, because you have to. So, like, for us to take this debate to that, I feel like it makes no sense. Can we just focus on the court? Can we focus on that? But I do believe when you have the GOAT conversation, the greatest versus the best, you got to start looking at impact. Michael Jordan, his shoe, and his impact on culture, LeBron's, et cetera, et cetera. So there are some things, but they're taking it way too far. They're taking it way too far. I saw something on Twitter, Ashley. I don't know if you saw this, but it's like LeBron's. You call them sexualists.
I didn't know. They're called LeBron sexuals on Twitter.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's wild. But there was one tweet that I saw a couple of days ago where it was like LeBron's fans take the debate so far where they had a picture of MJ and LeBron both at 5 years old, like their little kindergarten picture. And LeBron had an elephant in his picture. And they said, LeBron 1 elephant, MJ 0. Like they're trying anything to win this debate. And it's hard. It's hard.
I just also don't understand the part of LeBron being compared to Jordan is why his antlers are in platinum, because Jordan never had to be compared. Wasn't Kobe compared to Jordan? Wasn't Kobe constantly, every time Kobe did something, it was Jordan, it was Jordan, it was Jordan. So we're just going to skip over Kobe Bryant. That's one. And then two, we're talking about Michael Jordan, who was playing against Larry Bird, who was playing against Magic Johnson, who was playing against them fresh off their MVP years. Was he not compared to those guys? Was he not chasing that greatness? Was he not constantly being in comparison to that? Dr. J? I don't understand why we're writing revisionist history. I'm very confused by this.
I'm with you when you write. Again, there was something else I saw online where a gentleman was like, we forget the first half of Jordan's career, right? In the first half of Jordan's career, he wasn't the GOAT. He was being compared to all the names that you named. So you're absolutely right. But again, this is just Rich Paul positioning he and his friend as the GOAT.
I honestly
can you blame him?
No, everyone needs a friend. Everyone needs a friend like Rich Paul.
This is why they're winning. Keon, this is why they're winning. They stick together. Him, Mav, Carter, Rich Paul. This is what it's supposed to look like.
Everybody needs a friend like Rich Paul.
This is what it's supposed to look like.
I need you to feed my delusions. I need you to stroke my ego. I need you to go out there and tell me I am the greatest. I need you to tell other people I'm the greatest. I need you to come up with the most just like insane rationale to prove your point, whether it's true, whether it's not true, whether it's somewhat true, whether it's somewhat infactual. I need you to go out there and tell everybody who will listen that I am the greatest there ever was. Rich Paul, you have my respect. That is what you call loyalty. LeBron got a crew around him. I respect it.
Guess what? Those little private dinners that we be having, and we drinking the big bottles of wine and big bottles of champagne, and flights that we be on, your ass ain't gonna be welcome. You go out there and say anything else, you're not invited to the party. LeBron put this man in position. This man is a multi-millionaire because he put him in position. Now, has he earned it since then? Absolutely. But please, LeBron, there ain't going to be no clutch sports without no LeBron putting him in position. So you better,
Hey, man.
Let's take a break.
I'm not. We can't take a break. We have one more thing before we have to end it. Listen, on the same episode of that podcast, Rich Paul.
There's more.
Oh,
okay, my bad, twin.
Rich Paul was going in on this podcast. Listen, he was chirping, talking.
Shout out to Gil.
He was talking. Rich Paul was on the same podcast, and he disputed the claims that Stephen A. Smith made recently on Paul George's podcast P. He said, quote, "Cap, come on, man. Everyone in the world knows he's not saying that to me. There's no such thing as get the F out my face." Here's the clip.
Stephen A. Smith went on the podcast P show recently.
Cap.
We're going to get there.
Immediately. Immediately.
He had this to say about when he told you he had LeBron at number 2.
I got him as the second best player in the history of basketball. I got him ahead of Kareem. I got him behind no one but Jordan. And I said to Mr. Chirper himself, Rich Paul, my boy, and I said, you act like that's an insult. This dude, it is an insult. I said, get the fuck out of my face.
What?
Get the fuck out of my face. Exactly what I said to him. I don't want to talk to you no more. You can't talk to me about it.
So, we got you here, so I need to know on the record, did Stephen A. really tell you get the fuck out of my face? So from that,
let me answer that question.
I just need to hear Cap one more time.
Come on, man. Anybody in the world know me, he's not going to say that to me, first of all.
That doesn't matter to response.
Now, if you want to add context to it, because, you know, Stephen A., that's my guy. We have cordial conversation. But I'm not, you know, I can debate all day long. So when you talk about there's no such thing as get the fuck out of my face, no. Now you can say, oh, man, get out of here. Let's just add context for the viewers, right? Okay, fine. Okay, so we move on.
I just want to let the record show that on this very show, when we reported this story, I said there's no way in hell this happened.
You did say that.
I said that there's probably some truth to this, but Stephen A. is definitely salt baying it and putting some flavoring on it, and this did not go down the way that he said. And everyone in the chat was like, Stephen A., don't be lying. Stephen A., don't be exaggerating. Stephen A., don't. You heard it from the man's mouth himself that did not happen the way Stephen A. Smith happened. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
You listen.
Stephen A. be telling some tall tales sometimes.
It wasn't just the chat. It was me too, Ashley. I'm like, why would Stephen A. come out and say this? You know what I'm saying? Especially that way, because we all got platforms now. You can go on Gil's Arena and say, that ain't happened. Now you look like Boo Boo the Fool, okay? I was talking to JP, our producer, one of our producers of the show last night. He was putting a rundown together, and I'm walking to Walgreens. I had my little bonnet on, about to get some shaving cream to shave my legs because, I'm coming here to get some. I'm telling too much. Because I don't know why I'm going down this. Because we're going to get film of me doing yoga. And I didn't want Keon to get the happy baby. But anyways, I'm talking to JP. Sorry, too much information. I'm talking to JP. And I'm like, yo, why would he say that, bro? Like, so you're telling me that Stephen A's a liar. And he's like, no, he's not a liar. He's just a sensationalist. That's what he does, to your point. So you definitely
he's an exaggerator.
Correct. But to me, like, that's fraud. You can't do that. You can't do that. But there's more to this story, too, because Rich Paul was like basically like, well, he ain't say the F word, but he said everything else. So I don't know how much salt he's throwing on it.
Listen, I said because Stephen A's been telling some stories. What was the other story that he told?
The doctor with the bald brother.
Apparently, he spoke to Lonzo Ball's doctor, and the doctor told him after he went on First Take the day before and said that that Lonzo Ball couldn't get out of a chair. Yeah, and right. Lonzo Ball drops the video going up and down, doing a one-legged squat, getting in and out of the chair on one leg.
Talking to
him, saying, yo, what's up? Like, da-da-da. Stephen A. then gets on his show the next day and says that Lonzo Ball's doctor told him that he couldn't get out of the chair and that he's not healthy. We know he's not healthy. He's missing an entire season. You said he couldn't get out of the chair. He gets up out of the chair. And also, you mean to tell me that an NBA doctor, or not an NBA doctor, a doctor that works on NBA athletes, because he may not just have NBA clients, violated HIPAA so that you could get the scoop. Is that what I'm supposed to believe? Like, be for real. This is what I tell you. Stephen A. be lying. Like, I'm not calling him a liar, but he be lying. He be lying. Okay, he be exaggerating. He be telling some tall tales. MJ texted Stephen A. at 5:45 a.m. to tell him.
You think he lied about that?
Stephen A. That Magic Johnson is better than Steph Curry.
You don't think MJ texts Stephen A? He got
Do I think that they text each other? Absolutely. Do I think that MJ texted this man at 5:45 a.m. to dive into the Magic Johnson Steph Curry debate? No, I don't believe that.
MJ don't enter any
Come
conversation.
on.
Any conversation at all. So like it is interesting. Let me ask you this question: If MJ did text Stephen A. Smith, right, and Stephen A. Smith took that information and put it out there on the show, you think MJ would ever text him again?
No, because the text said that, and you can tell them that I said that or something along those lines. Like so if it was a text message, he got the approval to say it. I have a hard time believing that Michael Jordan, between being in France on his mega yacht or being on the golf course for 25 hours, 20 hours a day, between his NASCAR and his Formula One appearances, between all the stuff that you see him out, drinking tequila out the bottle in Mexico, that he took time out of his schedule to text Stephen A. to dive into the Magic Johnson Steph Curry debate. Why does he care?
Side B.
I have a hard time. I think Stephen A., when he tells his stories, there's truth to them. Underneath a lot of exaggeration. Underneath a lot of exaggeration. Remember when he said that Stephon Diggs told him he wanted out of Buffalo?
Oh yeah, and that's why you gotta be,
and Stephon said, bro, I never told you that.
And that's why you gotta be careful with what you say and how you say it, because you know, any athlete, anybody can go out there and refute those claims on their Twitter, on their Instagram, and you lose credibility just like that. I don't know. I agree with JP. He's a sensationalist.
He's an exaggerator.
That's what he is.
I don't think he's a liar. Yeah. I think he lies sometimes.
He's a great storyteller. That's
he's a storyteller.
You got to come in and be like, yo, yeah, MJ. I was talking to MJ last night. It might have been in passing. You might have seen MJ like, yeah, boom, 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 really quick, and y'all moved on. Yeah, I was with MJ last night. We was drinking tequila. No, you had a tequila. He had a tequila. Y'all saw each other at the bar.
He's like one of those people who takes a picture with a celebrity and like the celebrity doesn't know them. It's like, yo, me and my brother. I'm like, I just met you, dog.
You know what's happening
Like,
now?
I just met you that day. He also kind of reminds me of my uncle. I have an uncle who is an exaggerator. He'll tell a story that has some truth to it, saying, back in my day, I was playing basketball in Hollis, Queens with no sneakers and in the middle of the winter. No, you weren't. Man. No, you weren't. You weren't playing. You may have had some beat up sneakers. It might have been cold outside. I can see
Ashley,
that.
Come on, Ashley.
The hoop might have not had a backboard. I could see that, but you didn't have no. You had shoes,
Ashley,
bro.
You never did this before. You never put a little salt on the story, a little bit, a little sugar. You never did that.
I've done it like to my girlfriends when telling a situation about a guy. I'll be like, yeah, he did it, and I'm like, I exaggerate a little bit just to get.
Why
my
y'all
point
do
across.
that as women?
Just to get my point across.
Listen, that's why y'all don't be getting better sometimes. Because y'all go out there, and the stories y'all tell. It's
they skip over a few parts, you know.
Right,
and few parts where I'm wrong.
Your girlfriend can't even give you a real strategic, educated answer or strategy. Like, they can't give you advice because you're
that's
like,
not what I'm talking about. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like if like you see a dude that like your girl is dating like in the club with a different chick, you might exaggerate what he's doing, how lit he was, how many boys he had with him, how many girls. Like you might exaggerate. You might exaggerate that.
Oh my goodness.
You might exaggerate that number.
Exaggerate that?
No, not someone they're in a relationship with. Like if you saw their ex like out, you'd be like, man, he ain't. You know what? He was out there with like 5 different chicks. They were all like all his boys were out there. They had mad, but like you exaggerate the story a little bit just to like emphasize that he ain't SHIT. You know what I mean? So she don't go back. You know what I mean?
I can't
just spice it up a little bit.
I can't with you.
Guys do that too.
Listen, we're going to spend another 2 minutes here trying to figure out Ashley if she's capping or not.
If I'm capping or not?
Yeah, let me say it like this. We're going to try to figure out if you're a sensationalist or not. Mm-hmm. You're leaning towards, sensationalist.
I'm not a sensationalist. You
might be.
I tell stories usually how they are.
And then we're going to take a break. And then when we come back, we're going to talk about Ashley. If she's capping or not. If you're a sensationalist or not. You're leaning towards, sensationalist. You might be. And then we're going to take a break. And we're going to get ready for Mark Ingram. Mark Ingram's going to tap in with us at 1. Like I said, my first question, I want to know if this guy's retired or not, because he didn't put in his paperwork. I searched the web, and I said, in the database, the NFL database, is Mark Ingram retired? Did he put in his official papers? And nothing popped up. So, Ashley.
Yeah?
You think Stephen A. Smith is now sitting back like, all right, I got to be really careful of the stories I'm telling, because this last month has been very difficult for him.
No, I think he's probably...
From Stephon Diggs to the Ball brother, all right, to MJ, to now Rich Paul. Those are 4 sensationalized stories. Can you see him now saying, all right, let me tamper it down a little bit?
Let's see if he addressed it on First Take. I'm going to pull up First Take's Twitter and see if
y'all know Ashley.
They addressed it.
She be doing some of the same stuff too on TV. I think she do. But no, we appreciate you guys. While she's looking for this, we appreciate you.
There's
guys.
no clip out. We haven't seen him address it. Oh wait. No, they just addressed the LeBron scrutiny Michael Jordan thing, but I don't see anything about him addressing what Rich Paul said. Okay. But I know you're an exaggerator.
You think so?
Mm-hmm. You put a little spat. You put a little.
Give me an example.
You put a little
A little Dijon mustard.
You put a little Grey Poupon on your stories.
my facial expressions and my hand movement may make it feel that way, but everything I'm saying is factual. You can't give me one story. Give me one situation. You can't.
I probably could if I could sit here and think about it. But you're just extra in general. So I think that is just part of your personality. I mean, do we have to resort back to the Super Bowl?
What happened at the Super Bowl?
You refused to take the media entrance and made everybody walk around the entire building so that you could walk through the VIP entrance.
Hold on, time out.
So Mind you, Pat McAfee and his 60 employees are walking through the media entrance like, yeah, what's up? And Brandon said, no.
Okay. So,
no.
All right. So,
VIP me. Now right. I'm not walking through that entrance. I want to walk through the VIP entrance around the building. We're waiting for him. We said, where's Brandon? Oh, well, Brandon was here, but he doesn't want to walk through the media entrance. He wants to walk through the VIP entrance.
You done?
Go ahead.
Okay. So first off, Ashley is right. But she just put some salt and some sugar on the story.
No, I didn't.
So you actually did what you're saying. What I just did. There's a difference between sensationalizing something. Or, what you said is what you say. You're extra. Mm-hmm. So you're extra. No, that's just me being bougie. That's all. There's a difference. I'm being bougie, and the reason why is Pat McAfee. Although he's taken off and he's done some amazing thing in media, but there's a difference between when we go to Super Bowl and you have 100,000 people there. Yes, we need to walk through VIP. I'm not walking through all of that sea of people because every step that you take, can I get a picture? Can I do this? Can I do that? And we got to be on time. Now that's put me in position to say no to a fan, and I look like the clown. I look like the bad guy. So instead of me putting myself in position to look like the clown, look like the bad guy, I want to take the VIP entrance where you go straight to where you need to be and you need to get to, and now we're good.
I'm going to tell you why it's Cap. I'm gonna tell you why it's Cap. You know why it's Cap? I'm gonna tell you why it's Cap.
See,
this basketball is the media entrance. That Red Bull can is where we were stationed to be working. Okay? The iPad is the VIP entrance.
Okay.
It took you longer to walk from the VIP. You had to walk around the entire radio row to get to the TikTok.
We drove.
When you drove in the actual convention center, you drove.
Yes.
When you got out of the
tunnel.
When you got out of the car.
Key, can you come help?
And can you come help? Time out. When you got out of the garage and you were in the actual convention center where everybody is doing their shows and there's tables, you did not drive a car through there. You walked. And what I'm
Keon.
You did not drive in the building. What are you talking about?
Tell her the story, so I don't have to say it.
I'm not.
So I was the driver of the car.
Neither one of you are comprehending what I am saying to you.
We drove the car into the building down into this
I know. I went with you guys the second time.
So then we got out the car.
Right?
And then we walked into where the media radio
It's called the Convention Center.
Yeah, and it was probably a 30-second walk.
It was not a 30-second walk.
Was there any fans right there?
It was not a 30-second walk. And I'll tell you why it wasn't a 30-second walk. Because when I was at TikTok and we had to go with Brandon to a panel he was hosting, I had to walk from the TikTok to where the car was, and you had to cut across the entire room to get to that side of the room.
This is how to stage the room.
Whereas the media entrance, you go down the escalator, and TikTok is right here when you get out the escalator. Brandon and Keon are both lying.
She
and if you don't believe me, I will call JP right now.
Why can't you be wrong?
I will call JP right now because you both want to make it seem TikTok was on the other side of the room.
But hold on. But if let's say
they're both lying.
Say this is the media entrance, and it's let's say it's a half a mile. It's a half a mile from the entrance to where we're supposed to be. TikTok, and then you have.
It was on the other side of the room.
Then you have the VIP exit, right? But it's a mile farther. If you go this way, you're still going to get to your spot faster because you don't have to go through a sea of fans and take a picture every 10 steps.
I'm talking about when you exit out of your car and you're on your two legs.
That's right.
You had to cut across the entire room to get to TikTok.
No.
TikTok was by the escalator of the media entrance. So the VIP entrance was on the other side. It was where NBC was.
From when we got out of the car.
Right.
To go through the security thing to get to TikTok.
Exactly. Through that 2 minutes of walking to people. What's up, Brandon? Hey, Brandon, talk to me, Brandon. What's going on, Brandon?
Come on.
What's
now,
up, Brandon?
Woo, come help. You was there.
I'm not about to argue this
you
with
brought us
you.
out. Go.
I went through both entrances. I know which one was closer. I know which
Ashley,
one was
I'm
closer.
telling you. See, that's what you don't know how to be wrong sometimes.
I'm not wrong. The media entrance was closer to TikTok. The escalator was right there.
Go, we can't see you. We'll get in the shot.
Just to make sure we're on the same page, Keon explained it to me. When we got out the car, it was like a short walk to a door, and then we went right through media row. Yeah. Right? Okay, so it was a short walk.
I'm not talking about.
I thought you was gonna add some real color.
We're talking about TikTok installation. You had to go through the door where the curtains were, where people were sitting. You had to pass NBC and all those places. Right. TikTok was on the other side. You had to cut across the whole room to get to TikTok from the media entrance.
Brandon Marshall here, Ashley Nicole Moss.
I can't.
We got Woo Out West.
I can't.
We got Captain Key. We're having this debate on who's bougie or not. Ashley's she's having her Stephen A. Smith moment.
I'm not, because
all
of y'all are lying.
To put me in a bad spot.
All of y'all are lying, and I'm not about to sit here and lie with y'all.
Ashley's gonna be in the same position. Hold on, mark my words. Listen to this. When we go back to Radio Row,
matter of fact,
this year in Vegas, Ashley's gonna be in the same position. Now she's the cover girl of Tommy Hilfiger. She's on
matter
this
of fact, I have a video of the entire landscape of Radio Row. I can prove it.
We gonna get there. She's like, you go your way, I go my way. And watch when I'm gonna get there first. And she's like, oh, Brandon, I should have followed you.
Matter of fact, I have a video of the entire map of Radio Row and exactly.
It's not about.
It's not the car, Keon. That's what none of you guys are understanding. I'm talking about the minute you get out of the car and you enter the room where everybody is. FanDuel's there, NBC's there.
Everybody.
The VIP entrance was on the other side of the room where TikTok was. Right. You had to walk through a sea of people regardless.
Where's this map? No, Ashley. No, you didn't.
Yes, you did. I walked through both entrances.
Keon. All we saw was when you walked in my entrance, you saw Deion Sanders. You saw Dak Prescott. You saw DK Metcalf. You ain't see a fan and 20 people asking for pictures. We didn't see any of that.
But all y'all lying.
So what you guys are witnessing here.
All of y'all are lying.
What you guys are witnessing here on Paper Route is that Ashley Nicole Moss can be wrong. JP, what are you talking about here?
I'm calling Mark JP right now. Because all of y'all are lying.
We got 7 minutes of show that we have to fill.
JP, are you on this? I don't have an IFB, so I can't hear you. JP, I can't hear you because I don't have an IFB on.
Put
so
him on speaker.
He won't
answer because he knows you're
JP, we can't. I know you're saying turn the mic on. We can't hear you. There we go. Okay. I have JP, one of our producers, on the show. And JP, can you hear me?
Brandon, now you know every time you walked through that media entrance, every mother, father.
No, we're talking about the VIP entrance, not the media entrance.
That's the VIP.
Yes.
Yeah, there's two
every
different
time
entrances.
Brandon walked through that VIP entrance, every mother, father, aunt, Takeo Spike, celebrity, fan, analyst was stopping him to say what's up, talk,
take
a picture, photo.
Hold on. So first off, JP.
That's my point. You went the long way. You didn't avoid anything.
First off, JP, we split up into teams to a Super Bowl. Now, whose team were you on? Were you on Brandon's team when I had to go get the interview with Rihanna, or were you on Ashley Nicole Moss's team and Pac-Man Jones'
Brandon,
team?
he walked through the entrance with you, the VIP entrance.
Just to Rihanna. JP tried to go to Rihanna.
No.
I tried to take JP with me one time, but
I did.
Yeah, to Rihanna.
I did walk upstairs with you, and you remember you could only get one person in, and Keon had the camera, so I fully deferred.
Correct, but every other time you're telling me you were on my team Brandon, the whole Super Bowl weekend. You were walking with me. You were in my
Brandon,
SUV.
We're talking about the first day where we said when me, Pac, and everybody were standing there. We said, "Where's Brandon? Where's Brandon?" And they said, Brandon won't walk through the media entrance. He went through the VIP entrance. You know who told me that? JP, because he was with
so
you.
You wasn't even there.
Because he was with you.
JP,
I watched you guys walk across from the other side of the room through a sea of people to come the same way that we all did.
Okay, but here's the thing. Let me just say this, and then we can move on. If you want to, or we can continue to debate it. All right.
Oh, my God.
To go to the media entrance, you got to go through a bunch of fans, okay? And so it takes time. Once you get into Radio Row, everybody pulls on you. Like CBS, this show, that show. CBS might have 100 little radio shows there, and then you got Fox. And if you're not on their schedule, they still try to pull you in the same way we were getting people as well to come to our booth and our show. So once you get in, you still got to work and navigate through the room to get to where you're going to go, or you'll never get there. But the thing that you don't run into if you go through the VIP side is all of the fans that's outside. That's way before you get into Radio Row.
Nobody's negating that. All I simply said was you going through the VIP entrance did not avoid people stopping you on the way to TikTok because I watched you.
Yeah, that's right. But because and that's a whole nother monster. You're right, but it's easier to go through VIP because now I don't got to go tell a baby, I'm sorry, I can't take a picture with you. Now you show up like Patrick Mahomes as the bad guy. Remember they did that with Patrick Mahomes? He said no. Who was the athlete recently that said, no, I'm sorry, I got to move forward? He was playing golf. It was Patrick Mahomes. And then now it's all over the place, and now you like the bad guy. But they don't know that at 12 o'clock you're sitting down with Deion Sanders to interview Deion Sanders, or at 12:30 you got Shaquille O'Neal coming, right? So you got to – why you doing
All
this to
you
me?
did was prove my point.
No, I didn't.
Thank you, JP, very much for an actual recollection of what happened. Keon's trying to tell me they drove through the room in a car.
It's okay. He drove.
I'm not talking about the garage. I'm talking about once you were out on your own 2 feet.
No, so with JP witness, and this is
you guys did not drive.
Here's what happened. Let me tell you what happened. This was JP's first week on the job, I feel like.
Oh, my God.
So this is JP's first time seeing me work in that type of environment, that type of space. So we're pulling up, okay? And they're telling us go through the regular entrance. And I'm saying, no, there's a VIP entrance, and that's where we need to go. And they kept telling me no. And I said, no, we're going to find a way. So JP saw that exchange, which did take longer to get there. That's what happened, JP. That was day one. After that, we were smooth. We were good. But then once you get in, everybody's pulling on you. JP, I can't believe you, JP.
All I was referring to was day one. Y'all talking about the whole week. I was literally referring to day one.
We got Mark Ingram.
Jesus. I can't. JP, thanks. Listen, we're going to take a break, and we'll be back with Mark Ingram. I just can't. There's just too much chaos, okay? We'll be back.
You are a mess.
We'll be back.
You messy.
No, you're
I
a
always
liar.
knew exactly what I wanted to do. So you're going to get told no a lot. Wow. Sometimes it's not even going to be no. It's like, we're not even listening to this. Like, this is not even an option for you. Yeah, like, this is not even an option for you. You're not good enough. We don't do that. The opportunity's not there. You don't know how hard this is. I've been literally told I don't know how hard it is to do a daily show while I was working on a daily show. I'm like, you mean the show I currently work on? I don't know how hard it is to do that? the same meeting I'm in every day, the same wake up call, same time. How would I not know how hard it is to do the show I work on? You have to constantly reaffirm that you are good enough, that you belong there, and then always prove it. So I would just always say you gotta do twice the work to get half the opportunity. But that, to me, the mentality I've always had on it is that just gonna make me better. So that's why I'm excellent. Because I had to be. I couldn't be average, I couldn't be okay, I couldn't be late, I couldn't complain, I couldn't say no. Now I do. Right. But you have to do that because you can't give people the opportunity to doubt you. So that, I think, is what the sacrifice is. It's a lot of pride sacrifice. You gotta eat a lot of you gotta listen to a lot of jokes. You gotta ignore little comments, little microaggressions.
Yes, sir, and we're back. Paper Route presented by I Am Athlete. I can't hear nothing in my IFB, but it's all good. We have my brother, Big Trust, joining the show. We're talking about a national champion. We're talking about a Heisman Trophy winner. I don't know if you guys seen Swamp Kings, but he put a dagger into Tim Tebow's heart, and Brandon Siler and so many other guys. I don't know why you did that to them, bro. This is a legend. This is an all-time great guy. Welcome to the show. How are you, Mark Ingram?
Hey, I'm doing good, bro. It's a pleasure to be on the show. Appreciate y'all inviting me. It's an honor and a pleasure to be on the show, so appreciate y'all having me.
Aw, thanks for joining us. Why'd you say his name like that? Brandon Brandon normally likes to put a little sauce on his introductions for our guests. He likes to go above and beyond for their intros before we kick it off and we start talking football, life, and everything in between. So do you have one prepared, Brandon?
Well, listen, first off, I can't hear you right now, but we're going to get into this debate really quickly, bro, before we start highlighting some of your accomplishments and we talk about what you're doing now, what you're not doing. Are you retired or not? But really quick, can you give some clarity to Ashley Nicole Moss and one of our producers, Justin Perry? You've been to the Super Bowl, right? In Radio Row, correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, Mark, when you go to the Super Bowl, if you go down the wrong street, how many steps can you take before somebody asks for a picture? So does it make more sense to go down the street, or does it make more sense to go through the VIP entrance before you enter Radio Row?
The VIP entrance, 1,000%.
Stop moving the goalpost, Brandon.
Explain it to him.
Stop moving the goalpost. I'm not going to dive into this. Our audience doesn't want to hear it.
It's the only necessary way, because if you go the wrong way, you ain't making it to your Radio Row section.
Absolutely. 100% agree with you that, and Brandon knows that is not what we were talking about, but I digress.
She's trying to call me bougie. Really quick, Ashley, we'll jump into it because me and Ashley, my partner, we'll have this debate all day. Are you retired or not, bro? You know, you had a legendary career, you know, and I went into the database, this imaginary database that we have. You know, they say when you retire, you sit in papers. We don't know what to do, but we saw your appearance, first appearance on Saturday's pregame show. Fox was amazing, but are you playing or not? What's going on?
Hey, man, I'm very content with my job at Fox right now, but I did not retire. You know, everybody thinks I retired. That's like that's the assumption because I took my job at Fox. But, you know, if somebody called me later in the year, you know, I'm still training, I'm still ready. So if you got a team that's about something and making a run, you need a player, holla at me.
Which is interesting because we started a new time today, 11 o'clock. We usually start at 12, which means it was going to switch the time that we scheduled for you. And we reached out to the team yesterday and we were like, hey, can we ask Mark to move up, you know, his interview with us? And you said, no, I'm training. That was
I'm here for it though.
Hey, I'm done right around noon, making home around like 12:30. Got to get cleaned up. Can't be musty on the show. You feel me? So, yeah, I'm still working, bro. And I got to be on point. You can't be looking too heavy set out there on the TV. You know what I mean? Give you extra pounds anyway. So, staying in shape because it's a lifestyle, but also because I can still tote that thing if necessary.
Ooh.
That's right.
Well, first, I want to show some art appreciation. I see you have a collection of cards back there. When did you start collecting? How long have you been collecting? I absolutely love the artwork.
Well, I appreciate it. I've been collecting probably like 6-7 years, different pieces. And I actually, like this portfolio, I just moved into a new house. I didn't even see it until I opened like the box. So like when I cut open the box it was in, I was like hoping like I hope this thing is pristine because I bought it and I just stored it right away. And I got a few other little figurines around here, a couple more paints and stuff. But yeah, I've been collecting for like 7 years now, and now it's good to be able to have it on display. But I appreciate your taste.
Thank you. No, I was going to ask you if you had the figurines. That was my next question, but you already answered that. Yeah, listen, those are going to be worth a lot of money in the future. So the fact that you have a whole bunch of them.
I can take you guys around. I got some stuff in here. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, let's go. Let's go. Let's see it.
Let's go on a little toursy.
Oh, this is Paper Route Craig.
Ooh.
Can't have money. Ooh. Look at that boy.
Over there. You come in here, got stuff all up.
Oh, I love these.
Yeah. So we got a little bit of everything.
Oh, you got the Minion one? I saw that. That's cute.
Fire,
the Minion
bro.
one's fire.
Oh, you're a big fan of Cause.
Yeah, I love Cause. I'm a big fan.
Oh, you might be one of the biggest collectors in the world, right? Like, look at everything.
Yeah, he's got a nice collection.
Because sometimes people have 2 or 3 pieces, bro. You have a whole house.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Yeah, do you live in a gated community?
Yes, sir. I ain't gonna tell y'all my address, but we good.
Good, because Brandon's a Fed, so he might want your social security number. Next.
Y'all welcome to come up though. Y'all welcome anytime to come pull up. I'm like 30 minutes away from y'all. So
Man, Mark, stop. Like, listen, this is my brother, okay?
From another.
For 10 years now, I've been trying to get Mark to come down to Western Florida, and bruh, have you came one time?
I have not came, bro. Pause. I have not. I'm sorry. I have not yet, but I will.
All right, now that you retired. Well, now that you retired, so let's get into it, bro. Well, you're not retired, but you're in a interesting space. I think you will get a call, and it's going to be sad to see you leave the Saturday pregame show because I watched you this weekend, bro, and I'm not a huge fan of college football. I've said that time and time again on this show, but, bro, you made it fun. You are the juice on that show. The same way you're in the locker room. My last cup of tea was in New Orleans, and the same way you act in the locker room and on the practice field is the same energy that you brought there. Tell us about your first experience on the Saturday pregame show.
Man, it was amazing, and obviously I have a great crew, a great support system from the producers, everyone, man. They do a great job of preparing us and putting together a great, production. And it was amazing. The crowd, the energy was electric. I was crowd surfing. He cussed me on TV. I'm like, damn, bro. Like, you know what I mean? But no, it was legendary experience, man. And be able to talk college football, being able to, provide knowledge and insight, but also be able to turn up and have some fun. I mean, it didn't feel like work. So that's a blessing. And I do not want to leave Fox Big Noon. I'm not going to leave Fox Big Noon, but it's done the first week of December. So y'all hit me up like in December. And I'm able to finish my job and then go ahead and chase the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? So that would be the Cinderella story, the Cinderella dream. But like I said, man, I'm super content with my job. I'm excited about the future. And I appreciate you tapping in, not being a college football fan, but continue to tap in, please.
That's right. 100%.
Well, I am a college football fan, so I'm trying to get Brandon. I'm trying to recruit Brandon, but
Who you like?
It's hard. I'm really liking Deion right now, but I've always been, for me, it's always been the Georgia Bulldogs. I've been a fan of the Dogs, yeah. But I don't know. Deion may get me to swap jerseys this year. I'm actually very impressed with what we saw on that debut. Right. So. Yeah. We've had a lot of running backs on the show, I feel like, for the past few weeks leading up to the football season. And now we're officially just a few days out from kickoff. Finally, it feels like it's a long time coming. But it's been interesting to talk to running backs who are currently playing, running backs, who are vets and walked away from the game about what the market currently is. We have seen situations with Saquon. We have seen situations with Josh Jacobs. We've seen the most recent situation with Jonathan Taylor, and now he's on the PUP list and he won't even be available for the first 4 games. I first want to ask you, the running back market, we had LT on the show, and he said, listen, the running back market is changing. And if you can't both run the ball and catch the ball, you're going to have a hard time being a running back in the NFL. I want to hear your thoughts on that.
I mean, 100%. You got to be a 3-down back. You got to be versatile. And I think that's what's so interesting about the running back position. You have to be able to run the ball inside, outside. You have to be able to pick up pass protection. You have to be able to get out the backfield and be an asset in the passing game. And if you're not able to do all those things, your value will be limited. And it's unfortunate because you look at Saquon Barkley, look at Daniel Jones' record when Saquon is not healthy, as opposed to when he is healthy. So, you know, Daniel Jones gets paid, but Saquon's on a 1-year deal. It's just unfortunate because, you know, some of our premier runners aren't getting compensated for their production. They're providing blood, sweat, tears, giving everything they have to an organization. And then like Josh Jacobs, he leads the league in rushing last year, leads the league in like scrimmage yards. I'm not sure if that's correct, but he definitely led the league in rushing yards. And he's not getting compensated, a 1-year deal. And that's highly unfortunate because you know how dangerous this game is, especially the running back position. One wrong thing happens, knock on wood, then the next year they want you for vet minimum. It's just cruelty what they're doing to the running back position. And then like you have sometimes a number 2 or 3 receiver getting paid more than the back. Take Austin Eckler, for instance. He had over 100 catches last year. That's got to be second most on the team behind like Keenan Allen. Yep. He's still getting paid less than the second and third receivers. So it's just unfortunate. You know, that narrative's being pushed. Every other franchise tag, every other position's franchise tag since 2015 has increased. The running back position has decreased. So it's an agenda they're pushing. And, you know, if you're a businessman, you can kind of understand it. But as a running back and as a ball player, it's offensive when you produce and you don't get compensated for production. Every other position does, but the running back somehow seems to be the outlier.
Well, let's talk about that because I feel like that has been a huge reason a lot of people were concerned or questioning, rather, why it was taking Saquon and the Giants so long to reach a deal. He is the offense of the Giants. Obviously, Daniel Jones is their second rusher, which you don't really want in the NFL. You don't want your quarterback out there rushing just as much or just under your running back. And it took him a while to get a deal, and it wasn't even the deal that he wanted. And then with Jonathan Taylor, you see the Colts allow him to go out and, you know, seek a trade. But it seemed also like they weren't really interested in trading them or trading him, rather. They just wanted him to know that the market isn't what you think it is. And ultimately, now he's out 4 games. And the Colts GM came out and said, Chris Ballard, I believe his name is, and he said, listen, you know, it's not going to affect Anthony Richardson's development. You know, did it affect Andrew Luck's development not having a special back? And myself was one of the people who said it kind of did. You know, he probably would have played a little bit longer. He probably wouldn't have had as many injuries. Right. So what is your pushback against Chris Ballard saying that without Jonathan Taylor, Anthony Richardson's development is not going to be an issue?
My problem with what they did with Jonathan Taylor is, okay, you tell him to go look for a trade, right? You don't want to pay him premier money, you know what I mean? But you want premier compensation for the trade. You want multiple picks, you want a starter, you want a Pro Bowler, whatever it may be. So you don't want to pay him premier money, but you want premier compensation for him if you do trade him. So that's one issue. And also, you have a young rookie quarterback who is coming into your system, and we don't know how he's going to perform. Obviously, he has all the, you know, the physical capabilities. But what's the best way to keep your young quarterback comfortable in this league? Right. Is to have your all-pro rusher toting that rock. So that's going to take pressure off him. That's going to take some steam off of him and allow him to be a little bit more comfortable. So me as a GM, me as a head coach, if I have a young quarterback who's just not coming to the league, going to be starting out week 1, I need to keep him comfortable. I need to keep him safe. I need to make his job as easy as possible. And making his job easy as possible is to give your bell cow the rock and let him tote it. So now you don't have him for 4 games. That's going to make this young man's job a little bit more difficult. So I'm eager to see how it turns out. But I know for a fact, 1,000%, if Jonathan Taylor was in there, in that lineup, the rookie would be a lot more stress-free.
So I want to stay here. I got one more question about the running back market and the whole business around it, right? I'm almost positive that you had some tough negotiations with the Saints and Coach Sean Payton. Is that right?
Yep.
Can you tell us a little bit about your experience at the running back position and some of the intense conversations that you had with Coach Payton?
Well, like we say, like the running back market has been up and down, and it's the only position that has the least, is less in the tag than any other position since 2015. So even throughout my career, like, you know, I never got what I thought I deserved, but I always got my max value. So there would be other runners who did more than me. I mean, there was other running backs who did less than me, didn't have the same accolades as me, didn't have Pro Bowls, didn't have 1,000-yard seasons, but they got paid more than me. By the time I went to the table, the market was down or whatever. So it was like, yeah, so-and-so's making AMs, but yeah, I need that because he hasn't done what I've done. But unfortunately, the years where, they got signed, the market was just up. So the market has just been in flux for many, many years now, for several years now. And it's because they think they can, running back by committee. That's what they do a lot of times. They think, okay, I'm going to have an inside runner. Okay, I'm going to have a scat back. Okay, I'm going to have a guy that can pick up pass protection. But, like, if you have one guy that can do all those, and they're almost like this, like, if I have a superstar that I have to pay top dollar, I'd rather have a player who can give me 70 or 75% of his production and then pay for, like, and pay him, like, close to minimum or lower than to have to pay my premier running back. So it's just like, it's unfortunate. It sucks. And, like, I've had to deal with those things as well. Like, I thought I deserved more, but, I was always able and fortunate enough to be able to get my max value throughout my negotiations. So,
bro,
it's a tough business, bro. Especially the running back.
Shout out to Trust podcast, you and Cam.
Yeah.
And I think we had a conversation about this on your podcast, but you're not giving it to us, bro. You not tell us the conversation that you had with Coach Payton. Didn't you say something wild to him?
We had a bunch of conversations, bro. Like, one time, like, I'm down there towards the end zone, like,
yeah, that one.
This is my problem. Like, I don't have no problem sharing the rock. I've been running back by committees and shared the backfield my whole career, even in college. But, like, listen, when I'm toting this rock and I get this ball down here to the inside the 5 on the goal line, do not take me out and put the other running back in and let him just walk in for a touchdown. Like, okay, if we gonna run the ball, let me have the opportunity. If I done run the ball down there, let me have the opportunity. If I don't get it, then you do what you want. If you gonna throw it, do what you want. But if you gonna run this rock in there, let me have the opportunity. If B. Marsh, if you run the rock down there to the goal line, let you have the opportunity.
Brian coming out.
You
I don't know how y'all do it.
To the goal line, let you have the opportunity.
I don't know.
I come down there, huh?
I can't do it. I don't know how y'all do it.
No, when I get because when it comes time to go to the table, B. Marsh, what they gonna say?
Mm-hmm.
You don't score touchdowns. You don't score touchdowns. Why I don't score touchdowns? Because when I get the ball down there, I done bust my butt on 3rd and 3, breaking tackles, leaning for the first down. I done got stopped at the 2. Now you want to take me out and put somebody else in. Let me have my opportunity. Let them have their opportunity. Because when it's time for us to go to the table, you're going to say, I don't score touchdowns.
How did you?
I don't score touchdowns because you don't put me in. You don't leave me in when it's my turn to score the touchdown. You know what I mean? So I feel like you're trying to hate on me. I feel, what's the point? Like, you know what I mean?
How did you and Alvin Kamara work it out and stay on the same page? Because y'all tight. Y'all brothers. Y'all thicker than blood.
It was always just like, and it was never personal. It was never personal. I had no problem with any of my running back constituents, compadres. You know what I mean? They was always my dogs. We always worked, we competed. But at the end of the day, the business side of it is, like, if I don't produce, you guys ain't gonna pay. So if I get down to the goal line, it feels like you're trying to, like, put a limit on my value. You know what I mean? But me and Alvin, we just been tight since day one. Like, he came in, he didn't think he was all that. I like, people poured into me, Darren Sproles. You had OGs that poured into you, man, and helped you out. And I always just gave game. Like, I'm not, I know if I have, I'm confident in my abilities. So I always just gave game and I just showed them love, and we just kind of we just vibed, bro. And then obviously, they traded, it was me, AD, and Alvin. And then they traded AD. So me and Alvin was like, yo, like, shoot, they believe in us. It's time to, show the world, like, what we really could do. And we went off that year. We both made the Pro Bowl, and we was just tag teaming back and forth. And, it's just a blessing to have brothers like that. This football brought us together. We best friends. We family now because of this football. So this is crazy what this game has, been able to do for us as far as a lifestyle, as far as friendships, as far as brotherhoods, and no different without them.
I want to go back to something that you said when talking about, your contracts and your compensation for, your position throughout your career so far. And, this has turned into a passing league. I think at one point it was a very run-heavy offense across the league. And now we're seeing more of that shift, that turning of the tide, if you will. But for people who people who use that as a way to discredit the running back position in an NFL offense and say that because the league is now pass first, that the running back position as a whole is not necessary, I want to just hear your pushback on that. And for people who are unfamiliar with the inner workings of an offense, explain why the running back position is forever necessary and deserves to be compensated as such.
The running back position is integral to an offense. I mean, being able to set the tone physically, if you can only throw the ball, you are essentially one-dimensional. So if you have somebody that can pound the ball, run the ball, be efficient running the ball, that gives the defense don't like that. Defense, blind, they love the pass rush. You know what I mean? Defense line, they love the pass rush. So if you ain't firing off on the ball and hitting them in their mouth and coming downhill, it don't give them nothing to think about. It makes you one-dimensional, and it gives the defense essentially some freedom to play how they want. Now, when you have to run the ball, they have to respect it. When you run the ball physically and effectively, they have to respect it. That's when they have to move up. That's when you have play action over the top. So it's like, if you don't have Patrick Mahomes or Tom Brady, you're gonna need a running game.
Facts.
Russell, how are we gonna help Russell? You need a strong running game. How you gonna help the boy up in Indy? You need a running game. So unless you have Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes, these legendary one-in-a-lifetime quarterbacks, like, you're gonna need an effective running game and an electric running back to help you be successful. Or you're gonna be one-dimensional, and defense is just gonna peel their ear backs and pass rush you, put heat on you, hit your quarterback in the blind side, all that stuff. But the running back does so much things to help offense, from pass protection. They think a running back is dispensable. But if you don't have a runner that can diagnose pressure, know where the safety's coming from, scan back, pick up the slot corner or the corner that's coming, like, your quarterback's gonna get hit in the back of his head. So you have to have a running back that's smart, that's knowledgeable, that can do everything: run, pass, catch, do everything. And that's what makes a running back so integral to an offense.
And I'll add to that before we shift gears here. As a wide receiver, I always appreciate the running game. I always wanted to play with, one of the best, running backs, that was active at the time, because it takes the pressure off of us, right? Like, when you're a true number one, what happens? If you don't have a running game, you're going to get double, you can get triple team, they're going to roll coverage. And it's about a numbers game, right? All right, well, if y'all want to take away the pass, then we got favorable numbers in the box, 6-7 men in the box, we're going to run it down your throat. And vice versa. When you got to stop the run and you start going 8-men box, what happens? Now I'm one-on-one outside.
Yep.
So let you eat now. Let you eat now.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that hard. It's not that hard at all. A couple pause moments in my last minute.
Mark, before you dive into your question, everyone in the chat was kind of like coming at me crazy for my jersey. I just want to know, do you like my jersey? Do you think it's cool?
Is it Dez? Is it Mike Irvin?
No, it's a CeeDee Lamb.
Oh, CD.
Yeah.
I like CD, man. He's a baller. So
Thank you.
I ain't hating.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you.
So
see that?
There you go.
I don't take offense by it. That's your prerogative. Your loss, whatever. You know what I mean? I don't take offense to it.
Well, they were saying for a minute that Coach Payton, your head coach for a very long time, was going to become the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. Did you get tired of hearing that stuff? Did you ever believe it?
Man, I'm sure that's what he probably wanted. But Mike McCarthy did a good job, and that position didn't come available, so he went with next best option. So
talk about that option.
What, going to Denver?
Yeah, like what do you think? What do you see? In December, where will the Denver Broncos be come December, come January?
Be honest.
They had a strong defense last year, so if the defense can be strong and Russ can get back to playing how he was in Seattle, what did he do well in Seattle? A strong running game, Marshall Lynch, a strong defense, the Legion of Boom, and all them boys in the front seven. Like, he was able to have a strong defense, and he was able to lean on that run game, play action, improvise with his legs, make those off-schedule plays, and that's what he thrived at. So Coach Sean Payton got to find a way to implement his offense and do what Russ does well, and hopefully they can get some.
Will he?
Going on that offense, because they got receivers, Judy, Cortland Sutton. Like, they got some dogs in the backfield. Williams coming back off the knee injury, but They got the pieces around. Russ just got to kind of.
So where are they going to be in December, January? Where are they going to be?
I don't know, B. Marsh. I don't know, B. Marsh. They in a tough division, dog. They up there with the Chiefs, the Chargers.
Where they going to be, bro? Where they going to be, bro? We in the locker room, bro. We not on Fox pregame show. We not, you know what I'm saying? We just here. It's just me and you and Ashley, bro.
You getting messy. You're doing the most.
Where they going to be, bro?
You tell me where they going to
be. That's a good one. Good answer. Good answer.
That's my brother right there.
I want to know too.
All right.
Can we talk some Lamar Jackson real quick?
That's where
I want to talk Lamar. You know, Lamar was going back and forth with the Baltimore Ravens organization. It seemed like for 100 years. He finally got his deal, and you know, a lot of people are saying now this is the year you finally got paid, you got that out of the way. This is the year we have to see it happen for Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. Do you think that with Odell Beckham in the lineup, in the situation, in the mix, however you want to refer to it, that we're going to see a statistically incredible year from Lamar Jackson this year?
Yeah, you already know what it is. I'm a big Lamar Jackson advocate. I mean, he is really that guy. And you can't say nothing bad about Lamar to nobody in that Baltimore locker room without having beef. So, like, he is that guy. He's one of those guys that you want to play well for because you know if you do what you're supposed to do and you where you're supposed to be, he's going to thrive. And I think with the weapons that they put around him, the running backs are loaded. Zay Flowers, Odell Beckham, Mark Andrews, they're all loaded. And then the defense. And then the new offensive coordinator. I think sometimes he was kind of handicapped in the previous offenses. You know what I mean? It was kind of like running back centered, kind of tight end favored. But now with the new OC, I think they're going to spread some things out, be more open and taking the leash off of him a little bit, let him take the training wheels off of him a little bit and let him really show his skill set. Because I remember when I went to Baltimore and from New Orleans, you know, I played with Drew Brees, making every throw, making all decisions. I went to training camp. I mean, I went to a mini camp with Baltimore. I hear all this stuff about how he can't throw. He's not accurate. I'm like, I see this dude making every throw. I see finding the soft spot in the zones, deep outs, seams, like everything, post, checking it down to the back. I'm like, they've been lying about this dude. Like, he's really a baller. So I think he gets in trouble sometimes when he tries to do too much. But I think with this offense and the new OC, I think he's going to thrive. And with the weapons around him, I think he's going to thrive and he's going to ball, man. I mean, he was the MVP a few years back, and he dealt with some injuries last year. I think he's going to get right back to form. I think the Ravens are going to be a tough team for the league this year.
So listen, we want to be respectful of your time, bro. So we just have a few predictions, and then we'll let you go.
For sure.
Because we can talk to you, bro, for another 30, 45 minutes. That's why you're well sought after in the media world, and you have your own podcast. Make sure you guys go download, subscribe to Big Trust podcast. It's phenomenal. But let's start the predictions off right there in Baltimore. Okay.
Predictions?
Yeah. So where are they going to be? Since you didn't want to answer it with the Denver Broncos, where are the Baltimore Ravens going to be come December, January?
They're going to be fighting for that AFC North division. So they're either going to be a division leader or they're going to be a wild card. But they're going to be in the playoffs, and that team travels. The style that they play with, the toughness that they play with, they travel. So whether if they win the division versus the Bengals, you know, the Steelers going to be tough. The Browns going to be tough. That AFC North is a different conference, man. The AFC North is different, man. The AFC North is different. Like, they play real football up there, but I think they're going to either win the division or they're going to have a wild card spot.
Okay.
All right, so I have two, but first I'm going to ask, who's coming out of the NFC? Who's representing the NFC this year? Going all the way.
Get to it, baby. Let's get to it.
I'm going to say the Eagles again. They just reloaded.
Through the heart.
I'm going to say the Eagles again. My boy Jalen Hurts, my Roll Tide dog, you know what I mean? They got their defense nasty. They just loaded up again, so they got them players over there, man. I think it's going to be the Eagles still. I think they're the ones to beat.
That wasn't the answer I was hoping for, but okay.
I see that. It's very clear.
Yeah, that wasn't what I was hoping for. But we have a question that a fan asked and wants to know who is running back university, DB university, and wide receiver university.
Do I need to answer this question?
Yeah, you do.
You do.
Yeah, you do.
The Alabama Roll Tide is everything you. Everything you. Roll Tide, baby. So don't ask me no more. That's what it is, man. Do your research.
What is your pushback to people who are saying that the Alabama dynasty is not as big, bad, and scary as it once was? Listen, the past few college playoffs, the past few national championship games, we've seen new players come into the mix, and we've seen the beginning of potentially new dynasties, new bad boys in college football. What's your pushback?
Just watch this year. We got them boys. Defense strong. Jalen Milroe is like that. He improved a lot. He electric with his legs. We got probably the most talented roster from top to bottom. But the question mark is the quarterback. Jalen Milroe plays smart, makes good decisions, able to, execute in that short to intermediate passing game. I mean, you saw the deep ball. Like, that's electric. That's efficient. So as long as we have good quarterback play, making good decisions, watch what Alabama do this year. They're going to win the Natty.
Okay.
Then y'all really going to be sick.
Okay, so that was my next.
I would be as a dog fan.
Getting back to predictions.
Hey, you really can thank us because y'all's pedigree and newfound dominance, where did it come from? Us.
Okay. You know what?
See,
I'm not about to do this. I'm not about to do this. I'm not going to take the bait.
See, I see why you got this college football gig. I like it, bro. I like it. Well, you're going to make a lot of money.
Kirby is that guy, but Kirby learned his championship pedigree from the Crimson Tide.
Ooh.
Don't sleep with them dogs. Don't sleep on them dogs. Listen.
That art collection about to get big.
Just like us.
Ooh. That art collection about to get real big, boy. I see why they got you over there at Fox talking college ball. Back to the predictions.
Don't play.
Hey, listen. We in it together. Back to the predictions. So who's going to be on the other side of Alabama, on the other sideline then? Because that's what I want to know. Who's going to be in the national championship?
So in my playoff, I predicted it would be Georgia, Michigan, Florida State, and Alabama. And I had Alabama being my champion. So I doubt that they'll make Alabama and Georgia play in the first round. So it's going to be Alabama against Florida State.
UCF?
No,
UCF.
Not
UCF ain't got no
the
chance, bro.
Self-proclaimed national champion, whatever you have.
Did you guys know that Shedeur Sanders in 2020 committed to Florida Atlantic University?
Yep.
He could have been my quarterback.
Sorry, Ashley.
That's my alma mater. He could have been my QB.
Sorry.
You want to talk pain?
I'm glad he
You
did.
want to talk pain?
So go really quick because we got to let you go. All right, two more. All right, so Ashley asked you about who's representing the NFC in the Super Bowl. You went with the Philadelphia Eagles to go back. Who's coming out of the AFC? So who's your Super Bowl? What's the Super Bowl matchup? Come on, bro. You know. You over here trying to figure out how to be political.
Chiefs, but they playing with Stone Cold, man. They playing with Stone Cold. Like he the muscle on that defense. So if you don't get that right, like. Could it be the Bengals again? Joe Burrow, they've been going head up.
That's my pick.
They've been going head up the last 2 years. It's come down to the last play, whoever got the ball last. So is it Joe Cool? Is it Pat P? I mean, is it Patty Mahomes? Like, I don't know. But I'm gonna go with Pat just because that dude is different, man.
He's different.
It seems like he could do it by himself, man. No knee, no ankle. Like he finds a way to get it done, bro. So I'm gonna say a rematch.
Okay. All right, my last one, Ashley, and you may have another one or two, but I want to be respectful of his time.
I don't. You can take it. Go ahead.
MVP prediction for the NFL.
MVP, huh?
Yep.
MVP. My goodness.
Ooh.
If the Eagles get back, it's gonna be Jalen Hurts again.
So
he's gonna be the motor behind it. He's gonna be the engine behind there. So if the Eagles get back, like I said they are, it's going to be Jalen.
I'm sorry, I couldn't even listen to him. I don't even know what he said because I seen that Rolly pop up. I said, "Oh, that boy got that."
Brandon, for the love of God.
I'm sorry. that Rolly, Mark, that one's hard to find, Mark. That's hard to find. He looked at me. That's my dog. What was his answer? I'm sorry, Ashley. What was his answer?
He said if the Eagles get back, it's going to be Jalen Hurts.
Let me put my little 13,000 out there. That thing over there.
I have nothing, so there's nothing. I got no watch on. So
hey, that's just the Tuesday watch for you. I know what you got over there.
Yeah. That's my brother. So he said Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts. So he's a big Philly fan. Maybe that's where he's going to play this year. Because week 8, week 6. My prediction is week 6. My dog going to get the call. My dog going to be in Philly. And guess what? Me and Ashley Nicole Moss going to be right there on the sideline because you gave us tickets. But she going to be in the Cowboys jersey.
We were off to such a good start, Mark. We were off to such a good start.
I might as well just come pull up on the college football set. Y'all gonna love the vibes. You know what I mean? We had Colorado with Coach Prime this weekend.
Ooh.
Hey.
You know what I mean? So we had Colorado this weekend with Coach Prime. Y'all might as well just get you a flight. Go ahead, come pull up.
You know Brandon loves him some Colorado.
Well, I love Colorado, but I don't love college football. But you are turning me into a fan. For everybody out there listening, check out my boy on Big Trust. His podcast, all audio platforms on YouTube with Cam Jordan. Legendary conversations with big bosses. And then also Saturday pregame show on Fox.
Yeah, on Big Noon Kickoff.
So November.
Morning, you know what I mean? So Big Noon Kickoff. Make sure y'all tap in, man. Even if you ain't at the house, go ahead and leave them TVs on Fox for me.
There you
go ahead and do it for me. Let us get the ratings up, man.
So
you know what I mean?
Ashley, do you want to go to the November 5th game, the Cowboys at the Eagles, or Eagles at Cowboys December 10th? And because Mark is going to be on the Eagles. Which one do you want to?
I'm not going to speak that into existence for him. I can't. I liked his art. We started on a good note. I don't want this to end on a bad note.
No, that's a good note. My brother's going
It's not a good note for me. For me and him, it's not a good note.
Yeah, it is, because he's going to be playing, and then he's going to get his ring. His story, he's going to get a ring. And then he's going to retire finally, okay, with 9,000 yards and a ring, and then he'll go to Fox.
Yeah.
There you go.
I'm going to stay doing my job now. I'm telling you, the last game is December. The first December, 2nd. So that's all I need. Call me the first week of December. Let me get about 3-4 regular season games. You know, you a contender. We go to the playoffs. I'll tote that thing for about 3-4 games. You know what I mean?
Right.
Get me a Super Bowl right off into the sunset.
We love you, bro. Thank you, dog. Appreciate you, man.
Yep. Appreciate you, man. It was a good time, for real.
Love, man.
Bye.
Love. Yo, I see why he's I see why he's so sought after as one of those athletes in transition. And I can see him being super successful. You see how he lit up when we start talking college football?
For sure.
You know,
college football is fun, though. Get into it.
I am. I'm going to start watching. But it's like people like that making it fun. You know what I'm saying? So now he got my attention, and now I'm coming back. I'll be watching Saturday. Deion, obviously, we could have got into that discussion. But Deion, you know, is bringing a lot of excitement there. College football is fun, Ashley. It's just, I don't know. I'd rather watch NFL.
Well, listen, the NFL is back on Thursday. We will be back tomorrow. And this has been a really long show. I know everyone's very confused. It's been a 3-hour show today, I feel like. Yeah, it's been a 3-hour show. We've been on for 3 hours. 2.5? 3 hours. I'm rounding up. I'm hungry. I don't know about you, but I'm hungry. We thank you guys so much for rocking with us at our new time. We'll be back on tomorrow at our new time at 11 o'clock. So make sure you tap in with us then. What day is it tomorrow? It's Hump Day tomorrow. I'm very excited about that. We'll have a lot of cool stuff to dive into. Maybe Keon will stop lying for Brandon. But, you know, we'll stay tuned and we'll find out. 23 and a liar. It's just crazy. What a way to kick off a new year of life, Keon. Crazy. Absolutely insane. We'll be back tomorrow. Y'all have a good one. Bye.
Peace.